And what's good, YouTube? And welcome back to our channel. I'm your boy, Retro CG, joined by my co-host, Miss Really BTV. What you laughing at?
You were like, I don't know, you just sounded like you was about to do the quiet storm or something.
Welcome to the TSF Entertainment.
I don't know. You was like, I don't know. It was like you was putting on your radio voice or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Welcome back to the channel, y'all. So tonight we're here to talk about, I know we're a week behind. We are a week behind. Trust me, we didn't want to be a week behind between certain people's vacations and scheduling. We weren't able to get back to you guys.
For the record, y'all can go without me.
Oh, you see how that works, right? There's two of us now.
Well, I don't have nothing to do with
You see how that works, right? You see there's two of us now, right?
I would say I don't have nothing to do with that.
So here tonight we're here to give you our recap of P Valley season 2, episode 206, Savage. So what did you think about the episode?
So for me, I had gotten a spoiler because I was on vacation. I didn't look at the episode, but of course I went on social media and I saw what happened. So it was anticlimactic for me. I feel like if I hadn't known what was coming, it would have taken me a little differently. But I definitely was shocked. I was definitely shocked. I wasn't expecting what happened to happen. A couple of things that we predicted did happen as far as COVID. We kind of called that a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so we kind of called that a couple of weeks ago, but the situation with Big Teak that took me way, and there are no spoilers. The show's been out for a week, so at this point there are no spoilers. But that definitely took me. Did that shock you?
Actually, it did, and it kind of hit home a little bit too, because I had a good friend of mine that actually done that in the same manner in his vehicle. And it brings me back to the reality of that situation. I mean, it's been 5 years.
Sorry.
But it brings me back to that same realization that, depression is real. And in Black men, it's deadly because we don't know how to deal with depression per se. And sometimes the pride of a Black man doesn't know how to ask for help, doesn't know how to let others know that they need help. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes the people that are around us can't identify that we need help. Now, the thing with Big Teak is Lil Murda knew that, he had been struggling with, his own inner demons and seemed to be able to calm him. Every time he seems to get agitated, Lil Murda seems to be able to control him, to get him calm down. But, everything had this kind of came down on him at one time. With the realization that he's back out in society. It's been 10 years. There's so much that's changed around him. The fact that Lil Murda has moved on with Uncle Clifford. The fact that we learned that his mom killed his siblings. So that's the biggest demon of all that he's fighting with.
Yeah, when you think about those demons like that, wow, that. Whew.
So I'm not gonna necessarily do this week scene by scene. I'm just gonna, since we're a week behind, I'm just gonna do, everyone's probably watched the show already. So I'm just gonna do kind of like a free fall on what we thought about certain scenes and things in the episode. Let's talk about Big Bone. So the episode did start off with Big Bone and Diamond getting it in, and I'm worried about Diamond. I'm worried about Diamond. I think Big Bone is dangerous.
I think Big Bone. I think Big Bone is a plant. I think she would sit there by whatever this secret organization is.
Yep.
To find out what it is, what's going on. And she hit pay dirt with Diamond, and Diamond having the ring out. I think she knew exactly what that ring was, and I think that's why she's there. Because remember, she can't strip. She's auditioning for the paint, but she cannot.
But she can't strip. That's the only one. That's odd right there too. I thought about that too. Why would you show up for auditions at a strip club and you can't dance? You don't have no pole
Yeah,
work.
I mean, she's not the only one that showed up that day that couldn't strip, but she was the most obvious that she looked like she could. Like some of the people in line, you were like, we know you can't do nothing. But she looked like she could, but she couldn't. And remember, Mercedes kind of, I don't know if it was her sixth sense. Mercedes did not want her there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
when the sister said Big Bone is the ops. Yeah, I definitely think Big Bone. I do. I agree. I think she the ops too. I agree.
it's kind of a little bit of irony in it because Haley ended up picking her, and so now you brought
Right,
troubles
that's
to
true.
yourself. You brought the troubles to yourself,
That's
or
gonna
whatever
be
the case may
ironic.
be.
That's definitely gonna be
Hmm.
ironic.
Yeah, it's going to be ironic. I do think that she's involved with this gang that Montavious was a part of. I've seen in several other posts where people seem to think that she's Montavious' sister. I don't necessarily know if I want to go that far and say that she's his sister because Haley would recognize her if that would be the case.
Yeah, I don't think she's a sister, but I definitely think she's connected to them.
She's connected to that gang. She is. She's connected to that gang. And I kind of, and the fact that we heard Haley mention that ring in earlier episode when they was over there to Diamond's house when he was doing the Ricky on Mercedes, and Haley, Autumn Nightmare, um spotted the ring, and she was like, "Why are you holding on to that ring?" The fact that they keep bringing us back to that ring tells
Mm-hmm.
me that that ring is going to tie Big Bone to let everyone know that, look, this is where you need to start at, right here with Diamond. And the fact that she's asking questions about why he don't do security anymore at the bank, she thinks that he is involved with what happened to Montavious. Havens, honey, welcome in.
How y'all doing?
We doing all right with you? How are you?
I'm doing good. No complaints.
Well, thanks for coming to kick it with us. I know we're a week behind, but
Oh,
this
I missed
episode is
y'all.
just too. I miss you too. This
you know
episode is
what, Miss
too
Honey? They
strong.
don't know. Listen, Miss Honey, they don't know how to act without me. I go on vacation. They don't know how to. They can't function without me, Miss Honey.
My recovering paranoid side thought that y'all were together. I was like, they all together, all four of them without me somewhere.
No.
I feel like they snubbing me
No, we
because you
wouldn't
guys
do
were
you
all
like
both
that.
so eerily quiet on Instagram. I was like, they're together. I know everyone's
Yep.
together, and they are just snubbing me.
I
They
was
think
I
I
was
don't
on
know.
vacation. No, I was on vacation, and so was
Marvin.
Juggernaut. He was on vacation. So
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going this week.
I was saying next week, Retro's going next week. It's Retro's birthday, y'all. So y'all make sure
Yeah.
y'all,
Today
Yeah.
is
say
your
happy
birthday,
birthday.
Retro?
Nah,
Mhm.
next week. Next week.
Yeah, next
Okay,
week.
maybe I'll make you a mix CD
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
of of 90s hits, you know.
We can do that.
I don't
We can
say,
do that.
you
I like that.
know,
I'm about to say, yeah, he like playlists and stuff. So yeah, he'll
Yeah.
probably appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah,
too
I would love
retro
that.
love Miss Honey. That's what
Oh,
I'm
that's so
supposed to
sweet.
sign on the CD.
That's what you go sign on the CD.
Yeah, you got to
Um,
sign the CD.
hey, Abby, what's going on? Well, Abby, I definitely got work for you today, so I'm glad that you're here because we got some disconnection notices that we need to send out. Um, so Miss Honey, we were just talking about Big Bone and Diamond. I definitely think that Big Bone is a mole, and she's trouble for the family. What do you think?
I don't know if she's a mole, but I definitely think she's trouble. I think anyone who gets a gander at that ring automatically puts themselves in a targeted place from what we know from these shows. Like, I mean, if the money's right and the dude is fine enough, she'll talk about that ring. She gonna sing about that ring, baby. And I mean, she
Yeah,
pretty
she
much
is.
said, "I'm a welcome mat. Whatever you need to do, you need to clean your feet on me. You need to take a dump in my mouth. Whatever. I'm down for it." So I'm just saying, you got to think logically. You got to think logically.
Woo.
So
Oh my
therefore, if someone comes along and they say, "Hey, there's this $150,000 reward if you can give us some information about this person," this ring. Have you seen this ring or anything about this ring? The symbol that's on this ring, she's gonna sing. Either way,
Mhm.
she's a liability.
I definitely think she's a liability, and I definitely think that she's gonna bring some troubles to the club again. And this club is just doomed for. They ain't gonna never stay open longer than a week. I mean, every time
I
they
know,
open,
right?
it's
The
something going
grand
on.
reopening.
I mean, yeah, every time they open up, they got some kind of drama that's going on there in that club.
But we kind of
So,
needed to leave the club though, didn't we? Like if we were still, for the majority of the time in the club, we would all be bored, right?
yeah,
Because we've seen the dances and all of that stuff. We need to
that's
get some
true.
of this backstory.
That's true. I mean, that's true. And you know what? It's funny you should say that, Miss Honey, because season one, we spent most of our time in the club. We
Yeah.
spent all of our time with the performers. So you're absolutely right. This nuance here is taking us outside of the club. The club is kind of like a background character now.
Yeah.
And now we're focused on the other characters. What's up, Jack?
Well,
Hey,
going on?
LJ,
What's going on with you?
I'm here.
looking like
Oh,
Late to
Black
the
wow.
party.
Excellence.
Okay.
Come on, Black Excellence.
I was gonna say something, but we live, so I'm gonna wait till we're backstage.
Caramel Cowboy.
Comment.
Not caramel cowboy.
I'm here to
Oh,
party.
Miss Honey is a mess.
She is.
That's it.
And
That's
I'm
all I
the
got
one
for you, JLJ. That's all I got for you because you're married. Therefore, you're like the unsullied to me. So that's all I can give you at this point.
That's cool. What's going on with everybody?
What's going on with
You
you?
good?
I heard y'all was talking about
What's
Big
up,
Bone.
El
I was
Daddy?
listening.
Hey, Keisha.
I was definitely listening when
Um,
y'all was talking about Big Bone.
Yeah, my antennas
Such a
go
lady.
up with Big Ball around. My antennas go up.
I'm interested in hearing what JOJ has to say about Big Bone. You think she's a liability? What do you think about her character, especially in episode 6? And
I
she's
think
seen the
because of their
ring.
situation, it should be no new friends. That's what I think. If she's a new friend and she, are already too close. She
I
already know
mean,
too
the type
much.
of
Her word might
brutality
get
that's
cut off.
attached to that ring, I definitely would have threw like a towel over it or something. Like
Or
the
had my
the
altar
Yeah.
in a more
Yeah, I
concealed
definitely
place.
wouldn't have it out where people can
Yeah,
anybody like that's crazy. I mean,
yeah,
like Diamond, come on, you better than that. Put it in your closet, close the door.
right, not
yeah,
on the
It was one
breakfast
thing.
table.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Not on the breakfast nook.
That's what I
Right.
said. It's
right.
too much going on.
Yeah.
It's way too much going
Um,
on for them just to be inviting
I
new
do
people
think
around.
that but we also see his intrusive thoughts as he's doing his thing with Big Bone or whatever. He can't get his mind off Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
He can't get his mind off Mississippi. So that means he still has feelings for her, even though he ran her up out of there when she was down to the stove trying to get some moon pies. He ran her up. You know what she said she came for?
She ain't go for no damn moon pies. She went for
Ooh, I love
him.
good
He went to
moon
go see
pie.
Bobby, right? But he keeps his mind on
She went
her,
for a
and
pie, right?
Big Bone kind of noticed that he was distracted in his thoughts, and wouldn't look at her, hit it from the back, and she asking about the condom, and I'm like, he's got the right idea though. Get rid of that condom yourself, right?
I'm just saying, ladies, beware of the quick flip. If he looks a little distracted and he does a quick flip on you, ladies, it's something else on his mind, and it's not guap.
Oh
Let's
my
just be
god!
clear
I
about
be
that.
wearing a quick flip.
Okay, because that flip, I wouldn't have been asking you about where you put your soldiers, because that flip let me know that I need to gather my things and go. You know what I'm
And
saying?
go
The sun
home.
is coming up. Like
Go home. You not staying for
the flip
breakfast.
said it all.
Right, you're not staying for breakfast.
No, that flip told you everything you need to know about what
She was
need to pop
barely
off
able to get that
next.
cup of water she was going for. She
Yeah,
was
you barely got
able to
that
get
water. I can't believe you reached in his cabinet. What are you doing? But I think Diamond, it has a soul tie with Keyshawn because he basically committed to her in a way, another life lesson.
emotionally.
He kind of committed to protect her. He gave her that crystal and said he would take care of her and all of that. He's tied himself, like, especially if you think of it in the realm of the hoodoo voodoo realm or Santeria, whatever they got going on over there. He's connected to her. He's anchored himself to her, and for whatever reason, I think ultimately Keyshawn is probably going to end Derek, but I think she's going to get a redo, and ultimately she's going to end Derek to keep Derek from ending Diamond.
Okay.
She's gonna recover herself in that way, and they're gonna be together. But in protecting her, because he's got a soul tied to her, he's gonna position himself where Keyshawn's gonna get a redo.
Okay, that's an
This time she's gonna pull that trigger, I think.
I hope so. She needs to, because she needs help.
Redemption. That's the only. How can we redeem her back into the Pank family? How? What other way can we redeem her back in there?
One more, go ahead and pull that trigger. I think something else is gonna happen to those kids where she's just gonna feel as though she ain't got no choice but to. Now she's still kind of conflicted, like she's still morally conflicted. But once it comes out to those kids and them getting hurt again, once it get down to those kids and them getting hurt again, yeah, he's done for. He'll catch one right in the face.
Yeah.
I agree with Miss Honey. I don't think she needs anything else to happen. I think that once it's spilled over to the kids, it's a wrap. It's just a matter of when. She already tried to plan her big escape, and she realized it's not gonna happen that way. So you see her with the gun, and I think she realizes that it's gonna have to be a showdown. A lot of times in abusive relationships, especially with women, they won't protect themselves, but what'll make them move is when it's somebody else. And the fact that it's her kids, like, and she even said it. She said, if you want to beat on me, that's fine, but you're not gonna beat on my kids. Like, that was and he knew that. That's why he was ready for her with the car. He knew he went too far. He know yeah.
He got the GPS on the phone. He got the locations turned on the phone too.
Well, that's why she left that's why she was gonna leave the phone.
The kind of money Keyshawn was rolling in. I mean, she was doing Money Angels in episode 5. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if she gave every last single dime to Rome, and she just wasn't keeping up. Like, you should still have your residuals coming in from the lashes and all these other things. Like, we're calling her smart, and that's fine. She has made some smart, movements. But for the most part, girl, where's your money? Like, this plan you had going on, you left the house like an indigent servant. Like, what, I mean, you just made like 10 grand dancing for Jocelyn and Jessica Dime.
Maybe that's what was in the bag. I was thinking about that too. Maybe that's what was in her little go bag that she grabbed, because it wasn't big enough for clothes. So maybe she had a couple stacks in the bag.
That's all, because I even said that in my review last week. I was like, why are you packing up all the money and giving it to him? Like, first of all, when Rome trusted them to count the money, he was like, y'all done counting that money? He didn't know how much was there. The fact that I find it ridiculous to think that they would have given up all of the money. So even if she gave him the majority of the money, she been in the game way too long, and she know way too much that she would have given him everything that was on that floor. Like, I don't know about that part.
Even Lil Murda still had to get his cut too. So
right, even with Murda in them, like, I don't know. Because
that
Murda
Legends
got money,
Ball, that should have been her money though, because they were making it all about Keyshawn, the whole Legends Ball thing.
That's true.
Right.
It's just nonsensical that she doesn't have any grip.
Money. He buying cars and shit. He got money. So if he brought home money, she had to have brought home some money.
I mean, that was like a $6,000. That car was like $6,000 though.
I don't care. It was $6,000.
Yeah, I was thinking about $6,000 or $7,000 too. Well, let's talk about that for a second.
It don't matter. It was money he didn't have. She should have had more than that.
So Lil Murda's Hurtville Hustler gang they deep. They out there
and invisible. Deep. They're deep and invisible.
And invisible. I didn't realize that his his gang was so large. They out there with their green and red on, they're partying, they're welcoming home Big Teak, Zeke or Teak, yeah, Big Teak,
Teak.
Big Teak, Zeke Teak,
Yeah,
whatever.
Big T.
They'll welcome him home. Big Teak is sitting on top of the car. He's just kind of taking in the moment. He's happy that everyone is celebrating him, but at the same time, he's still emotionally unstable with all this. He's overwhelmed with gratitude, and of course, he sees Lil Murda pull up in this 2001 Charger. It was a Charger, 2001 Charger.
Yeah,
That's wrapped. And y'all act like he giving him a new car. I mean, that was a $6,000-$7,000 car.
man, you would have thought that was a scat pack. You would have thought that was a red eye Hellcat.
Yeah, Hellcat.
But the point is, but that's not even for me. That's not even like the point. I mean, I understand what y'all are saying. It ain't
I
like
know we just being facetious.
No, I know. But I'm just saying, like, if we're going back to the money part of it, I'm saying Lil Murda is dropping money like it ain't nothing. And we over here trying to figure out where Mississippi's money is, and she should have had 10 times more than what he had. That's all I'm saying.
Lil Murda also sells drugs too, so he has drug money as well.
But Keyshawn got OnlyFans.
Lil Murda selling weed out the trap house. Come on, Mississippi's still supposed to have more money than him.
Keyshawn is doing like an OnlyFans type thing too.
Right.
She's got multiple income streams. She's not in charge of those multiple income streams.
That's the problem. That's the problem, is that she's not in charge.
The way they're playing her out now, like this sort of, dejected ghetto hood rat. I mean, she's been making boss moves from episode 1.
Yeah, but you also have to understand, just like she said last week, she's taking care of 3 kids. And so she's paying all the bills. And so, a lot of her money probably goes towards her household. Because she ain't got no extra income that's helping her pay none of the bills. So she got to feed the kids, she got to pay the bills, and she got to feed her grown kids. So
I guess, whatever, I guess.
But I feel what y'all saying. I agree. I mean, I think she should have more cash on hand. She should have been run me my cash in my hand from Rome. Run me my cash in my hand. Autumn Nightmare. Autumn Nightmare is at the club. Who she's
what's her name?
Autumn Nightmare.
Yeah.
You got something to say about that?
Okay.
Autumn Nightmare. You good? Sure. Okay. Autumn Nightmare is squatting still at the club. I love messing with you. She's a nightmare. So she's squatting at the club still. She back here taking a shower. And Big L and Uncle Clifford, they so petty. And then it went turn the water off on the girl while she washing up. That was funny as hell.
You see those Jordans that Uncle Clifford had on?
Yeah. He had the brotherhoods on.
Uncle Clifford had the ones, so had some ones on.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Damn. Oh, Lord. Okay.
Wrong, Chris?
Was on. I was like, okay, Uncle Cliff coming out with the ones.
What's going on?
I see you, Uncle Cliff.
Uncle Clifford is though had enough of Autumn. He threw with her, and he's like, we should just kill her.
Right, he really is over it.
Yeah,
he really is
want to get her locked up.
Like, look, we got enough blood on our hands already. We don't need to kill her. Nobody else up in this.
Right,
club.
he really was.
Well, they tied to Autumn. Autumn. That was Autumn's enemy, but Autumn didn't pull the trigger. Autumn didn't chop the body up. Autumn didn't hide the body.
And that's what Big L told him.
And that's what Big L said.
Yep.
Big L, that's what he said.
Only if she would have pulled the trigger, only if she would have buried the body, then So y'all
the way Clifford is moving towards Autumn, to me, is pedestrian. Because it's no different than anybody else you owe. You got to move kind of in silence. You know what I'm saying? You got to be kind of sneaky. You got to pretend that y'all friends, even though you watching them and you moving. Like the way they're playing Uncle Clifford out in this situation,
He's not moving smart.
It's kind of pedestrian. It's a little bit like we've been there, done that. Now, I'm saying that even though we've gotten stellar episodes, that's because some of the plot lines make perfect sense. How they're trying to put together this Autumn, and he agreed to selling because he knew that it would be more of a more money for him if he did, and he would figure it out from there. He agreed to that when they went up in
He did.
percentages,
Oh, oh, damn.
and
But
now
he absolutely did. And I don't understand. Like, I get it. Going back to last season, that this is his family's legacy. It was the juke joint. It was the place on the Chitlin circuit. Like, I get all of that. But at the end of the day, if you tell me, listen, I'm gonna make this deal, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take care of this deal, and on the other side of this deal, you're gonna walk away with $3 million free. Like, even with him only owning 1/3 of the club, you're gonna walk away with $3 million. You live in Chucalissa. $3 million, you could take $50,000 to open up another club, and you can bank the rest of that. And it's called the
Yeah, I
Paint.
think they were looking at
It
it from
still has
inside.
the name. It still has the reputation. People are still gonna come to the Paint. You know what I mean?
I mean, and he's
I
had
think they got
enough
tunnel vision
experience finessing
when it
these
comes down to
girls.
the actual. When it comes down to the actual club, I think they just got tunnel vision. They feel as though if they lose the location, if they lose the area, it's going to lose
Well,
the
land is
identity of the
important,
club.
though. Land is their land. That land is the most It's not the building; it's the
It
land that's the most
It is,
invaluable.
but
Exactly.
they more so thinking of the identity of the club. They like, where would I be without this club and all this, and all that. But really, the reality of it is, they can go get a whole nother paint. Like, they can go get a whole nother bigger and better paint. They just
But
think
they
it. They just
can't get
thinking
it on
about,
this land right
identity of the
next
club.
to a casino. They cannot
And
get it on
off
this
by the
land next to
interstate
the river. How it's positioned,
on
it
the
is
levee.
prime land.
It's prime real estate and it's off the interstate. So you get a lot of traffic. But I don't necessarily think it's so much. I hear what y'all are saying, and I don't necessarily think that it's more so about her wanting to sell the club. Is the fact that she's been dishonest about it. If she would have been upfront with them when she
That's what I
bought the
don't
club,
like.
if she would have been upfront with them about her intentions with the club when she bought it at the auction, then we wouldn't be at this point. I think Uncle Clifford is more so, and I could understand how Uncle Clifford is feeling, because look what trouble you done brought here, and look what we done for you, and now you just want to snatch our thing away from us for you to get a payday. So like, it's more about loyalty and about gratitude. Like, we caught a body for you, and this is how you repay us. So it's kind of going back to the same reason why Mercedes put her ass out, was because Montavious told her that Haley always thinks about herself and only herself. So that's what's ruminating in their thoughts about her, that they try to do right by her, and she's going to take the first opportunity she can and fuck them. Even though you still get $3 million, hell, you can build another pink right next to the casino. Build one, a brand new one, because that building needs a lot of work done to it anyway.
I was about to get ready to say, looking at the paint, they need so many upgrades on so many different levels. If I've been Chucalissa, that would be like the last place that I want to go to based off of what it looks like.
Yeah.
The reputation will probably send me in there, but the reputation is going to go with you anywhere. Like, they can build one anywhere, and the reputation is still
What
going
they
to be.
need is a grand. They need a grand scheme, and the grand scheme is not going to come from one person. It's going to require them all to pool their resources,
just like they did to get rid of Montavious.
Yes, they're going to have to all pull together in order to pull off a grand scheme, and that grand scheme is keeping that land and coming up on that money, because it's not just enough for them to keep that land in that building. They don't have enough influx of cash to keep it going, even if they do continue to own it. So they need a good lick. And the only way to get that
right now, Big L was telling her about the air conditioners that they needed, $5,000 plus the $11,000 they got to pay the health department.
Need to come up. They need to come up.
$16K that they need to reopen.
That's what they need to be pulling. They need to still be running them scams, them Mercedes scams that they was running. I mean, that Autumn was running with Mercedes first season. They still need to be pulling in some extra money from somewhere right now.
But I'm sorry, y'all. Where does the money go? Maybe Uncle Clifford buying too many Birkins for real. Where
He be
is
show
the
off for
money?
no reason though. He be show off for no reason. He got dressed up to turn the shower off on Autumn in last episode.
Where is the money? Where's the money? Because every time
What
they
is
show
money
the
on?
club is open, the floor is covered with money. The floor is covered with money. It's stacks being thrown up.
Y'all
left
should
and
have
right.
seen me trying to count up Mississippi money. I was like, "Ooh, that looked like $8,000 or $9,000."
That's what that I agree. I agree. What is happening to the money? I agree.
But
Because last season we understood what was happening to the money because he had taken
yeah,
out all
predatory
those
loan.
payday loans and all of that. We
Yeah,
got it.
It was in
loan.
debt.
Now it's like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, where's the money going?
Yeah, because you're debt free at this point. You're debt free at this point.
Better get them
So-
PPPs going.
Where they tried that. Remember, they got declined. They got denied the PPP loan.
Oh, right. It did.
They weren't considered essential.
Essential, yeah. But I think that Uncle Clifford is more so concerned about everyone else because the pink is kind of like the black sheep. You got all the rejects and the refugee type people. Even though some of these people probably have potential for a better life, Uncle Clifford feels responsible for them. Like, where these folks gonna go? Ain't nobody gonna hire them. Nobody's
they
gonna
work in the casino.
fire Big L, or nobody's gonna hire Big L. He's scared. Nobody's gonna hire Diamond. He got fired at the dollar store. So I think Uncle Clifford is taking responsibility for these folks. That if he doesn't keep a business open, that these folks are not going to be able to have a way to earn a living, an honest living. So I think it's a combination
really
of
look
really
out
different
for them. If he really want to look out for his people, he'll get two steps ahead of Autumn. He already had dealings with Autumn. It's no reason for him to be acting so flustered about how he's going to thwart Autumn's plans. He need to be sidled right up next to her.
If I was Uncle Clifford, this is what I would do. If it was me, just to fuck with her, I would go to Corbin and sell my portion of the club to Corbin.
Oh,
so
wow.
now Haley and Corbin
definitely gonna be A out.
Exactly. That's how you want to fuck with somebody. If you want to fuck with someone, let's go ahead and fuck with you the long way. So since Corbin is desperate to buy this club because he wants his big payday from Promised Land, Autumn doesn't want to sell to Corbin because he's not offering her enough money. She wants her big payday. So now you put them two at odds with each other. You get your money and go open your new club. Take that $500K that Corbin is offering, or at this point he's offering $1 million now. I would sell my 35 to Corbin for that $1 million, and then let him and Autumn cancel each other out. And I'll slide right on around the corner and open me a new paint. That's what I would do. So Big L and Uncle Clifford, they're talking back and forth, and I really like the fact that they have a trusting relationship. Like Big L, like Uncle Clifford trusts Big L, so he speaks freely in front of Big L about the things that he wishes he could do to Autumn. They on Instagram and they see that Roulette and Whisper, they are advertising that they're going to bring the paint to the annual Spades tournament.
Listen, the paint is closed. You gotta make money where you can make money, child.
But I guess what were they doing before they started working at the paint?
I don't know, but they like that money.
Well, we probably know what Roulette was doing. Roulette was probably turning tricks.
She got a lot of side hustles.
She do, don't she? It's so
but
funny
she
how
seemed like she getting tired of them side hustles.
It was too funny how Uncle Clifford was watching her on that CCTV. She put a little dress out. He had to went back there and got the girl dressed and everything. Uncle Clifford is too petty. Oh Lord. What do y'all think about the fire haircut at the barbershop with Big Teak?
That's okay. You gotta explain that to me. I never seen that before. What's that?
That's an old school. Like back in slavery days type way that.
Oh damn! Is that old school?
Yes. That was really
another way of cutting the hair back and getting rid of the hair all at the same time.
The split ends. I mean, it's no different than what y'all do when y'all have your braids and they take the lighter and burn your.
But that's Kanekalon. That's not the real hair that they're burning. They're burning Kanekalon.
That is true.
But you have to remember too that a lot of stuff that we did was steeped in superstition. So
Right.
black
Right.
people especially don't like to let their real hair get in the wind, because if you let a bird make a nest, you get a headache, migraines. So you're
That's
supposed to
right.
keep your hair. So one of the
That's right.
things they did was they burned their hair.
Yeah,
So
my
it's
godmother always burnt my hair after she would
yeah,
do my hair. She
yeah,
and to this day I do the same thing. I don't know why I do it. I just know she did it.
yeah. So it's like two birds with one stone. You're
Yeah.
cutting at a time where you couldn't really have sharp items. So you're getting rid of the hair, you know, figuratively and I guess spiritually, you're giving it back to the earth, burning it. But it's supposed to be very effective, long as you don't have products and stuff in your hair.
She said, authentically young said
I
Katori
was just
explains it
giving.
on her Instagram page.
Well, actually, I was going to
Oh, I
comment
gotta
on
go
that
look at her
too.
Instagram
But
page
going
now.
back to the casino, that is a good point, AY, because that's exactly what Corbin wanted to do with his land last year. He wanted to lease it instead of selling it.
That's smart,
So,
authentically young.
so if that was the case, Uncle Clifford should be pushing more so for a lease than selling, because then they get their money. They get their money. But
That's true. That's true.
they at the barbershop and everything. And of course, when I heard the barber say to Big Teak that he was casket sharp, I knew right then and there. My antennas went up. I'm like, he might not be with us no more. Remember, we had been talking about this. We had a round table discussion about who we thought wasn't going to be with us much longer, because they were playing that killer game. And
Yeah,
so,
we did. Yeah.
as it turns out, he's one of the victims. And so, you know, this was a scene that we pretty much realized that when he looked at himself in the mirror, did you see the shadow of the devil in the background?
No.
Yeah. When he looked at himself in the mirror, there
No.
was like a silhouette of the devil in the
Now I
image
gotta go
that he
back
was
and look
looking
at
at.
it.
Mm-hmm. So you remember he said later on in the episode that he had the devil in him.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So he was struggling with his inner demons throughout this whole episode. We saw that as he started to progress. Lil Murda get a call at the barbershop from Keyshawn, and she, in her own way, tried to tell him that, because he was sitting there trying to figure out what had happened to Rome, because Mo didn't even tell him about anything. So he found out about what happened to Rome just like everybody else did online. And so Keyshawn calls, and she kind of, lets him know that Rome, I guess, forced himself on her.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm glad that he died. We wasn't on that episode together. What did you think about that episode, really, BTV? We didn't get the chance to do that review together.
About what?
Rome and Keyshawn.
What you mean?
What were your thoughts about that episode?
I mean, you mean in regards to what happened? I mean, I'm not being funny. Like, in what specific? What do you mean? Like overall, my thoughts on the episode?
Overall, what were your thoughts on that particular episode? A lot of things happened in that episode, the White Knights episode.
I thought we talked about the Cinderella episode. Didn't we talk about it?
That was your vacation week.
Oh. I mean, I thought it was. I appreciated the fact that we got the origin story. Huh? What did he say? Oh, I appreciate the fact
summer
that we got the origin story of for Keyshawn. I think it gave us some insight on her and the boyfriend / baby daddy, whoever. Is it I feel like, yeah, I guess it was all the same episode. Golly, it was a lot that happened in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I appreciated the origin story, but I feel like the writing is a little inconsistent. Kind of going back to what we said at the beginning. On one hand, we see where she's no dummy. She is a little bougie. She does have a little bit of that background, but on the flip side, where's the money? Like, Like, where's your escape plan? Like, what's
Where's
really
your
going on?
stash?
I don't know.
We said that in the review. We were talking about that. We seem to think that she gave Rome all the money because he was her manager. She trusted him that he was going to do right by her. And really, to be quite honest with you, if it was me, I wouldn't want to be keeping up with my own money. If I have a manager that I'm paying for and that's there with me, that's your job. Here, keep up with this money for me. So I kind of almost feel like Rome just cleaned her out, because she took that duffel bag.
Right. She gave him the duffel bag. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that was probably their system that, Rome would be responsible for, keeping up with the money and maybe even the deposits as the manager. I would think that would be part of his responsibility. But for her to give him all of it, you're right. I would have kept a couple of them stacks for myself.
Yeah, I just don't know about that. Them getting all of it. I don't know.
That's kind of one of the reasons
But
why
she's a little gullible and naive anyway.
You know what? We kind of alluded to that too, El Teddy. We were talking about that, about this whole killer game and them riding in their hearse and everything. Because at one point we thought Wody wasn't going to be with us much longer. You remember I said it would be interesting if Lil Murda wasn't with us much longer. So it's almost kind of like everyone was marked for death in this.
Well, Wody told him. Remember when he was like, either you tell Big Teak he ain't coming. He was like, I got a way of, making things happen or whatever. That was after he realized Wody was the one that killed Rome.
Yeah.
So he let him know.
Well, the phone hung up before he said too much.
That's right.
Not that he's not going to figure it out.
No, because when he said how you know he died of an overdose, that let you know right there. When he was like,
I understand that though. I'm like, he's a known cokehead. Like, it's cocaine.
But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It wasn't public how he died. Nothing was said about how he died. And for Wody to just be like, well, he OD'd. He said it like 2 or 3 times before Murda was like, wait a minute, how you know he OD'd?
I still wouldn't have thought that was suspicious though. One, like I
would
said, he does cocaine, and the other thing is that's what Waldy's job is, keeping his ear to the streets.
That's right.
Nah, if the police ain't released it, ain't nobody said nothing.
I grew up in the church culture, and I remember when people would die, they would say, you heard how they died. People be like, girl, I can't tell you, but you ain't heard it from me. But
I can't tell you.
They say he had the package. We knowing stuff. That's all I'm saying. It's okay. I get where they going for the storyline. I get it. So I'm not gonna. That's not the hill I want to die on.
Miss Honey, you just took me out with the package because I remember old folks used to say that.
That's old school. Yeah. That's old school.
The package. Everybody that died had the package. Everybody that died had the package. Oh, they died from
everything was the package.
They had a massive heart attack. No, they died from that package.
Yeah, they say he had the package. Yeah. So anyway, yeah,
I do not appreciate how battered and broke down and dirty looking they have Keyshawn looking in these scenes when she be at home. She's a baddie when she be at these clubs and everything, but when she at home, she look like she sleep outside in a tent. They look like they don't have no electricity at this house. They look like they don't have no air conditioning. They look like they don't have no running water at this trailer or wherever it is that they stay.
They're probably just kind of adding on to the way that she's being treated, at home. So they probably just like surrounded that, that created that ambiance towards the relationship between her and Derek. I think that's all the writer was trying to get out as far as that goes. Because she do be looking terrible, like what
she looks terrible, yo. She be looking terrible.
She look like
she be holding on to that baby for dear life. Like, please don't hit me with this baby in my arm. She be holding on to that baby like it's a teddy bear. She be holding on to that baby.
She be looking like she be getting beat up.
I don't like the way they have her looking at home, boy. That just make me angry every time they show her in a scene at home. I just be like, she been to get slapped right now. And he got the nerve to tell her that he going to go help his friend put a fire pit in. And we got to lead on a job. She don't told you last week you ain't gonna get it.
I don't
You ain't
understand.
gonna get it.
I really
So
don't.
what
I don't
you
understand
get
how
this
he
on?
don't have his stomach not toe up. I don't get that. I don't understand why he doesn't have chronic diarrhea. I'm not really sure why he's able to keep food down. I'm not. I'm not
Exactly.
clear as to why his skin is not super duper itchy. You got to go to war on your
No,
abuse,
all she needs is some antifreeze. That's all she needs.
huh?
She needs some antifreeze. That's all she needs. Some
You ain't
antifreeze.
got to. You ain't got to kill him. You just got to make him
A
not
little
want
grit
to be
ball.
there. Every time he dog that threshold, he
Some
ought
grip
to be
ball. She
itching,
play some
scratching,
grip ball.
pooping, peeing, bleeding from the ears. All of these things need to be happening. Like, why is he so comfortable there?
He
Play
will
a
be
little,
so
play a little
sick.
grit ball.
Exactly. He need to be bedridden sick.
I would
Right.
put itching powder in his hairbrush. Like, I would work. I would, man. When I tell you, I would run him
But
so
she's not. But
crazy.
she's not. But she's not strong enough, though. That's the
No, she
thing. You
not.
know, when you deal with women like that, you know, they have to build up their strength in order to do it for themselves because she just ain't strong enough. She just ain't in there yet. She getting
But
there.
even with that, I go back to Mercedes. Mercedes
That's
giving
true,
all
bro.
of that money to her mom, and you had a whole child that you needed to be trying to get back. You was trying to get a studio, which I think in you know you felt like that was going to help you get your child back if you had this viable job. But all of that money, you gave your mama all your money, and this woman has been your tormentor. Same thing with Keyshawn. Like, we're seeing this perpetual weakness when it comes to these two characters. I really wanted to see the Mercedes character, not just Keyshawn. I feel like that's
I
an
said the same
inevitable
thing.
story arc. But Mercedes, I wanted it to be a little bit more
And we may get
fruitful.
it. And we may get it next week. We may get it next week. I don't think that we're going to get out of here without getting a Mercedes backstory. I think we're going
Yeah.
to get it.
And a
We
little
definitely
bit
got
of a win for Mercedes. Like, Mercedes has been hit pretty hard, and she's the one that took out our arch enemy in the first season. Come on, let's give her a little bit
that.
of a win.
That's a fact. Uh,
That's
yeah,
right. With
she can't
poison
call
the
nobody
meals every day. I don't understand why he's not bedridden. He needs to be in the bed sick all the
meals
time.
every day. You see what they was eating? They was eating glizzies last weekend. They was eating hot dogs last week, the week before last. I mean, what you go sprinkle something in the ketchup, I guess, but they ain't eating that good at home.
Mm-mm.
She came home and he had hot dogs.
She should have got some of that fentanyl from Wody did.
All the money that passed through her hand, and she still ain't got
Exactly.
pot or
She
window.
could have
I
got
just
some of
don't
that
get it.
fentanyl from
That's
Wody.
what I'm saying. Like she gonna have pot or window and did like the Instagram thing or the kind of like the PG-13 of
That's how
OnlyFans
I
or
feel
whatever
too,
she gonna
L.
do.
Teddy. I feel like that too. I mean, they just got her she get beat all the time. I mean, it's like every scene they show her at home, she's battered looking, like she just got a fresh beating. I mean, just I'm ready for her to fight back at this point because I'm getting to the point now that I'm not even trying to feel sorry for her anymore. I used to feel like, damn, Keyshawn getting her ass beat. Now I'm like, well, you kind of like not trying to free yourself of this situation. And I get that she don't got the strength to do it, but at this point, like Xavier said, why you ain't called Mercedes? Why you ain't called
Can't
Diamond?
call
Why you ain't called
Mercedes.
Uncle
She
Clifford?
can't
You know these
call
people
them.
go wild for you.
She
You know
cannot
these people
call
go
them.
wild.
She burnt that bridge. She can't call them. That
Go
bridge
ahead,
got burnt.
Ruby. Go ahead. You got your hand up. Go ahead.
So I ain't trying to like be too deep, but can we? And I say we. I'm not talking about we at this table. I'm just saying in general. Can we stop oversimplifying battered women syndrome? If it were that easy to just be like, I'm gonna leave, she would have left.
Definitely.
And I feel like that's why they gave us the origin story last week, so we would understand why she chose to stay. Remember, she did leave, and her stepmama sent her back. Her daddy, we see that her daddy ain't shit. On multiple levels, her daddy ain't shit. They never
Man,
really explain what happened to her mother, but we can only assume her mother is no longer with us because she didn't go live with the daddy immediately. She would have go live with the daddy. Remember, she was new to high school. So something happened with her mother that she doesn't have a mother. She doesn't have a father. She doesn't have any family that we've seen her with. And she feels responsible for this man losing everything. He lost his rich family. He lost his scholarship. He didn't go to college. I'm not saying it's rational. I'm not saying that it's rational, but that's what we do. We talk about when we talk about battered women syndrome. That's what it looks like. And so it's easy to be like, why she didn't just leave? Why didn't she just take advantage of when Diamond wanted to do it for her? You know what I mean? But I think she's ready, is what I'm saying. I think what she saw with her kids is what did it. But she does have to come up with a plan because for whatever reason she ain't got no damn money. I don't know. And yes, she does feel like she burnt that bridge at the Pink. She knows she can't pick up the phone. No, let me take that back. She can pick up the phone and call Uncle Clifford because for as much as he barked, if she call and say help, he coming. That's the reality. He's coming. Now the rest of them, they mean that shit. But Uncle Clifford doesn't. Uncle Clifford doesn't. And we see that Diamond really doesn't. He's fantasizing about having sex with her.
She's got to do it for herself, though. I mean, exactly. I can see the build up to where they're taking Keyshawn, which is one of the reasons why I didn't focus on it as much in my review. Even with the whole Keyshawn episode, I knew it wasn't going anywhere within that episode in terms of her, saying enough is enough and I'm going to fight back. I knew it wasn't going anywhere in that episode. That is going to be a part of the finale. I think whatever is going to happen with Keyshawn there, I think it's going to be another murder night, basically. And we're going to have more than one murder. That's my prediction. But we have seen moments where Keyshawn has left that look of being this down and out, downtrodden, beaten every day, can't leave the house. I got to ask permission. Like she floats in and out of that character though, because we saw her talk very eloquently about her business. We've seen her earning money when others aren't earning money. She's doing it online in a bedroom in her house. And then she's got the lashes and she's got the wig, all this stuff that Rome set up. She was a part of the Legends Ball. She's got opportunity, yet we don't see from her any intent for so far outside of this last episode where she tried to, pick up and go. And I was like, you got the gun all this time, girl. But I digress. I don't know. Sometimes we see a strong Keyshawn, and then sometimes they flop us back over to this kind of mealy mouth Keyshawn, and I get confused at times.
And I guess
it might be that way in the real world.
If she was weak and timid all the time, then I can understand that battered woman syndrome. But it ebbs and flows. Sometimes she's this strong black woman,
and she talks back, and she gets in his face, and she
goes and she gets her ass beat.
She does. She does.
I mean, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, she talks back or whatever, but I don't know. Okay.
I just think I could have. I'm with Keyshawn, period, but I think I could have had a little bit more understanding for Keyshawn in totality if what we saw was more consistent from her.
I agree. But you know what? We also learned in the origin story that she's been taking care of them from pretty much day one. Because remember when she said she was working at the Walgreens? So he has not had a job since they've been together.
And we were trying to figure out why he ain't got a job yet.
Yeah.
But we say he probably got blackballed by his family.
That's what I'm thinking too. They haven't spoke to it on the show. But we all seem to think that it's because his parents have pretty much blackballed him. He can't get a job.
He's a weakling.
Yeah.
He's a weakling. If Duffy could get work, he can get work.
Yeah. Well, even if he was out here in the streets, I mean, you got damn near wife and 2 kids at home. You got to be bringing in.
Well, you're a white man.
Man, that's true too.
You can get work.
That's true too. All you gotta do is put on a tie. That's it.
That's not okay.
Not if he was blackballed.
Well, I don't know what world you live in, but the world that I live in, white
he was already outside.
Show up.
He was already outside looking in because his dad, considered him a punk because he was a cheerleader.
He was
that was one. Then they probably look at it like, okay, you didn't got this black girl pregnant, whatever. Get out and get it on your own. We don't want to be associated with that. That's something, that's another strike. So, I mean,
and I guess the biggest thing of it all,
his pride is not stopping him from getting a job more than anything, because he can go out there, he can get a job. It just depends on where he wants to work, where he wants to
Yeah.
work at. And then at that point, he kind of, if he goes out and get a job, he loses control somewhat of his household because now he's not seeing what everybody's doing, what she's
You
doing.
know what?
who
I
she's-
was getting ready to say that part of it may be that he don't actually really want a job, because then he doesn't have the ability to watch every move that she makes.
Exactly.
He seems perfectly content being at home watching
He's a
her
weakling.
moves.
That's what I
Yeah.
said. He's a weakling. I mean, he doesn't
Yeah.
even have any outside of being abusive. What other vices does he have? He doesn't drink like that. He doesn't, he doesn't get high like
Not a
that.
drug. Yeah, he's not into drugs.
He
Yeah.
doesn't work. His whole
Yeah.
world is Keyshawn.
Yeah.
But he also has a temper. We saw that with the football players. Maybe he's, because again, remember, we're not talking about a large metropolis. We're talking about Chucalissa, where the jobs are probably limited anyway. You get a reputation as being a hothead. You beat up a couple of people on the job.
Your name all around town.
Nobody gonna be in a big rush to hire you, regardless of black, white, and different.
Football players had it coming.
I think that's what she was.
But not the
alluding
ones
to
that
when
was
she
trying to
said,
break
"You're
up
not
the
gonna
fight."
get the job.
The dude that spit on him, yes, but remember, he beat up the dudes trying to break the fight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's what she was alluding to when she said, "You're not gonna get the job because you always muck it up.
You muck up everything. You muck up everything you touch." Yeah. Yeah. And we sit here, we're talking about Keyshawn, but at the end of the day, it's obvious she actually loves him.
And that's the other part. That's the other part. She loves him.
Why and how, I don't know, but she actually loves him. He's a father.
Well, he was her rescuer.
He was her savior. Yep. But that mama, that stepmama, or whatever, that wicked witch, whatever she was, she warned her. She said, "Be careful about a man taking care of you. Be careful
She
about
did.
a man."
Even though I really like that, but she definitely
she was drunk, falling down, whatever. But she gave her a tidbit of advice that went over her head. But she warned her that night when she came from that prom that be careful about a man that come for you, and keep you, because he gonna control your every move, and that's what ended up happening.
And that's the thing. He likes to be in control. And I think if he go get a job, he's going to lose some of that control.
Yeah. I think, you know what, D? I never thought about it like that. But I think that's part of the reason why that he keeps applying for jobs. But we've also seen where he's applied for jobs and he's been denied too. So it's a combination of all. I think his temper. I think the fact that he doesn't want to lose what's going on in that house. He won't be able to anchor Keyshawn down. It's just a whole big pot of mess that we have going on in that sweat factory that they live in. Mercedes has to take groceries over to Shell's $300,000 house. And
that's a problem.
It's a big problem. And she got attitude. You got molded oranges in the refrigerator and ranch dressing. That's all you have. And someone come in here with groceries for you, and you got attitude with them?
And she didn't look like a cup of hot pea and vinegar. I mean, she looked
horrible.
She looked
absolutely
horrible.
Every episode,
she looked ran down. Mm-hmm. She looked like alcohol is just like the bottom of her problems. It's like she got a whole new list of problems.
It transforms her problems. It intensifies her problems, because when she was in that tub, I thought she looked bad then, but she really looked bad last week. They got the nerve to have an attitude with Mercedes about her child.
And still have these lofty ideas that she's somehow above Mercedes. Ma'am, you're a drunk. You are a raging drunk. You have no reason to stand over anyone with any measure of haughtiness, because you're drunk.
And not even feeding the child. You don't even have no groceries at the house. No groceries. And you sitting here talking cash shit about her hood, ghetto house that she live in?
I think, though, it bears mentioning,
but that's just a deflection, though, off of what they actually really pissed off at each other for.
True.
Really,
that's true.
That's all that is. That's just a deflection. That's not actually That's just what they, what we see on a day in day out basis with them. But like they touched up on their backstory just a little bit, and that's where the initial anger and the initial problems come in from is the backstory.
But you know how the mighty is when they start to fall, they have a hard
Mm-hmm.
time being on this level when they're
I
so.
mean, but I'm be honest. If I'm Shell, I'm not. I mean, and I get it. I get it. Beggars can't be choosers, but I'm not all that excited about Mercedes doing shit for me. She was the other woman. Like,
right. That's what I. That's the backstory.
She was the other woman. Like, you straight up was sleeping with my man and had a whole baby by him. Like, that I'm taking care of. No, we ain't friends, and I don't care about you bringing me no groceries. Don't come in here looking at me like you feel sorry for me. Don't come over here trying to lecture to me. Hell no.
Because if you didn't betray that loyalty, then none of this would have happened in the first place.
Because, like I said,
so that's
that was
where the
16.
Does 15-year-old Mercedes know that she was dealing with a married man?
She said she knew. She said when she found out, she didn't care.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Miss Honey.
So that's what beef. So that's where the beef comes around. She got legitimate beef. I mean, you can't. It's hard to put that beef aside. Just concentrate on the kid.
So you're right. Really, I didn't think about it from that perspective. But it's been 15 years. Let that shit go.
15 years that I've been raising my husband's bastard. Yes.
Go ahead, Miss Honey.
It ain't gonna let that go. It's not gonna let that go. You're not gonna be able to forgive that because it's constantly going in your face.
But if that's where you live at in all this, why keep the bastard? Why keep the bastard?
She explained why she did it.
If this is a constant reminder of your dead husband's infidelity, looks like you still living well. You obviously collected on a nice life insurance policy, living in a nice fine house, or whatever the case may be. If this is where you feel, then let Mercedes have her child. If she's the other woman that ruined your life, then undo it. But part of me feels like she's holding on to that child because that's was all she has left of that husband.
Listen, hold on. Let me clear something up. Because I don't know if that comment is aimed at me or if that comment is aimed at Shell. I'm talking about her perspective. I ain't talking about how I feel. I ain't talking about whether I think Mercedes was a victim, whether she was a child and she was taken advantage of. That is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about Shell's perspective on why she treats Mercedes the way she treats Mercedes. That's what I'm talking about.
And
I don't know if that comment was aimed at me or if that comment was aimed at Shell. That's all.
And that's what my comments are in regards to. We're talking about.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people in the chat.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one you were talking about, but okay.
I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about people in the chat. I feel like I don't know if they were talking about me. Yeah, I don't know if they were talking about me or if they were talking about Shell. But I'm not speaking like I understand that Mercedes was 15 and that she was a child and that she was, out there doing whatever she was doing. I'm talking about why Shell is not quick to accept anything from Mercedes and why she has the attitude that she has. That's what I'm talking about.
You know what? I would understand that and I would see that narrative a little bit more clearer if that's how we were introduced to Shell. When we first got introduced to Michelle, her and Mercedes seemed to have a very cordial relationship. It's now seemed to turn more to a combative relationship, and I don't know.
It's always been kind of tenuous, though.
Only when it got to the subject of her wanting custody of the child, and I think at this point, the decision shouldn't be Shell's anymore. I think at this point, the decision should become with Terica. She's of age now, where she should have a decision in who she chooses to live with. The child may not. Well, she clearly wants to be with Mercedes. I think it was going to end up happening is that girl is going to run away and she's going to end up running over to Mercedes and she ain't going back anymore. Didn't mean
no, I don't think she's going to run away. She did. She ran to Mercedes. The showdown now is going to be, I think, exactly what you just said. Terica is going to want to stay with Mercedes.
Yeah.
And that's where the showdown, because that's where she went. When her back was really against the wall and she needed somebody that would understand what she was going through, who did she go to? She went to Mercedes.
Mercedes gets a call while she's over there being Instacart.
Not
She
Instacart.
gets that's what she was. She was Instacart. I don't even think she even got a tip for bringing the groceries.
Can I say something before you move to Mercedes?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Well, I think one of the things that Katori does very well is writing a story. Although it comes across seedy, it's P-Valley, yes. And there are some seedy scenes, but I think the greater point for how she tells a story is that we get a chance to walk in other people's shoes, so to speak, right? And then we also have the opportunity when we do our reviews to show empathy. And so one of the things I like about Really B is that she does always come from an empathetic standpoint. And so looking at Olive saying all that, looking at Shell, I can understand that letting Terica go is kind of like letting her husband go, but then it also leaves her with nothing. It means Mercedes will have taken everything, right? She not only will have taken that husband right before he died, but also she would have taken, the child that he loved and the child that she's raised, I'm sure, and she loves now, Shell, and that will be gone as well. She really will have nothing to live for if Terica is gone. I can get her point, but she has always, from season 1, looked down at Mercedes. And Mercedes, as dogged as she is, as defensive as she is as an individual from protecting herself, her mom and Shell, for some reason, she just cannot. She has to get to a boiling point before she speaks up. Because I'm like, you've made enough money to get your baby back. You've made enough money to make this fight, but she hasn't done it because of her own issues, Mercedes, her own inadequacies, right? She has every character. You have to think about, what would I do if I was them? You know what I'm saying? Clifford and everything that he's got going, and Big L being, in prison, and even Roulette, having to take care of herself in the way that she has to take care of herself. We have to empathize with, when we empathize with the characters, then we have a little bit more understanding. When I get fed up with the character, it's coming from a place of me just not understanding. Like I know how vengeful. I promise you, my husband would not be able to sleep in my house and he didn't put his hand on me. I promise you. But I can empathize with where she is, the stalemate that she's in. That's all I wanted to say.
So
Character, they all have their own reasons for having gone through what they've gone through and feel how they feel. Now it's about them, the character growing, and moving beyond these parameters.
And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna be, to a certain extent, and I hear what y'all saying. I get it. I hear what y'all are saying, but I don't like, Mercedes isn't wrong when she says it doesn't matter how much money she has in the bank. She's not wrong when she says, if I had tried to go get custody of you, I don't win. There's nowhere in the world. You saw the way Shell was living before the pandemic, the house they were living in, the neighborhood, the opportunities that she had. She clearly had a legitimate job making decent money. And you put that next to a stripper who gave her child away. It doesn't, the rest of the story doesn't matter. That's what the court is going to see. So she's not wrong in saying, listen, the way that I had to get you is what I was trying to do, which was make nice with Shell and get her to agree to let you stay here and gradually make this happen, because she's not going to win in court. She ain't got enough money for a lawyer that's going to win that case.
So, El Teddy, I just wanted to comment on the villain in Mercedes. I don't necessarily think I agree with the fact that she's a villain. I mean, everyone has their own opinions, but in my opinion, I do think that Mercedes is flawed. However, we also have to understand why she is the way she is, and it's Pastor Woodbine. Pastor Woodbine is the reason why Mercedes probably made a lot of those bad decisions, including how things ended up with her and Cortez. So even though I'm not going to put rationality and great decision making on a 15-year-old mind, I'm not going to do that. But we see that she's constantly trying to undo those wrongs. She's constantly trying to undo those wrongs. She's trying to stop stripping. She's trying to have a relationship with her daughter. I mean, at least she's trying. I mean, if she was an ain't shit parent, if she was an ain't shit person, she wouldn't be concerned about this. My child being taken care of by someone else. So the mere fact that she wants to, even with all these odds stacked against her, the fact that she's out here turning tricks to get up money to give her daughter a better life, that tells me that there's something earnest in her that wants to be a mother to her child.
She does. I think she does.
And it's
Mercedes
more than you can say for a parent that don't want to have a relationship with a child, that don't pay child support, that don't call on holidays, that don't help their children grow and develop and learn and become productive teenagers and adults. At least she earnestly wants to be with her child, and for that, I'll root for her.
That never, ever, ever stop testing the chain, and I say that because Mercedes and Keyshawn kind of remind me of a dog that's been tied up so long that even if you untie them, they just sit there because they don't know that they're untied. Never, ever, ever stop testing the chain. It's never, ever going to be a great time to start the fight or you know what I'm saying? It's never going to be a perfect time to start the fight, but you need to at least start having those conversations about getting your daughter back. And we kind of seeing it now. I think that worked then. It don't work now. I think that's a lot of frustration people have with Keyshawn and Mercedes is that they're both in that place where they still think they chain and they can run free.
Oh, I agree with that comment. Being a stripper in a hoe ain't an easy job. When you have a mother that's a piece of shit and you have to fend for yourself, you'll make bad decisions. I wholeheartedly agree. I was just speaking to the fact that earlier in the chat that someone referred to Mercedes being a villain. I was saying that I don't necessarily agree with the fact that I would call her a villain wholeheartedly because she is a product of her environment. And some of the decisions that she has made hasn't been because she's just a bad person. It's because she's been in a bad situation and made bad decisions because of it. Because I mean, even as an adult right now, her mama took her money and ran off with it and took her building. So even to this day, she's still a victim of her environment because she trusted her mama with her money and her mama ran off with it. So I mean, if anybody's the villain, it's Patrice, because she over there getting all the money from the church.
Where the money resides, where the money
resides. Okay, so we're gonna fight and argue some more, but I think we've got everything off of our chest about Mercedes and Keyshawn. Let's go. So when those scenes come up, we're not gonna even talk about them. We're done. Well, except for the Mercedes experience, I feel some kind of way about that. But Lil Murda and Big Teak on a date. This is the same place that Lil Murda wanted to take Uncle Clifford. And Uncle Clifford like, you can't take me here. Where are you going to take me? So, they're out on a date. They have their lemon pepper wet. You see the waitress is kind of flirting with Big Teak. Lil Murda's a little jealous of the waitress flirting with.
I did not like that album shirt.
We also learn a lot of their backstory too. That they were in a relationship. And it's a relationship that never ended in Big Teak's mind. But it was a relationship that kind of was a in the moment type thing for Lil Murda, I guess.
They kind of acted like they were both of their firsts.
That's what that's what it seems like.
And it also seems like Lil Murda has always lived in this fantasy world of being able to ride the fence. Because you heard Big T talk about the night in the closet where he had pasta and candles, even in jail. And it's like you
100%.
You're trying to still have this romanticized relationship, and that's the same thing he tried to do with Uncle Clifford last season. And Uncle Clifford was like, "Listen, we can't do this. Like, First of all, I know who I am, and everybody in Chucalissa know who I am. I'm trying to protect you. You can't do that with me. Like him and Big Teak would have got away with it before him and Uncle Clifford would have got away with it. But it just shows that he's always lived. Lil Murda has always had this fantasy that he could have both.
But I think that's one of the reasons he likes Uncle Clifford too, because Uncle Clifford does both, and people don't come for him like that. It's just the different worlds that they've built. But I agree with you 100%. That is his biggest flaw for me, and I love the Lil Murda character, is the fact that he's under this delusion that if he acts machismo enough, that no one will ever suspect. And if they do suspect, I'll just bark them down. He's under this idea, and he doesn't realize that it's not going to
necessarily with his sexuality. He seems to struggle more with his sexuality than Big Teak. Big Teak.
He doesn't address it, really.
He doesn't address it, but you can also see that he kind of lives in with the thought of it in the back of his mind when it comes to the perception of others. Because as soon as Pico called him the punk last season in the club, he beat him down to a pole. So, you know,
that's why him and Walter fell out too, because Walter said you need to get your head in the game.
Exactly. So it's in the back of his mind, but he just doesn't know how to live in his truth. I don't necessarily think at first.
I think parts of it got to do with his career too.
His career, yes. Yes,
I think parts of it
that on him.
Like until Lil Nas X came around, we didn't, you know, until Lil Nas X came around, you know, we didn't know of any, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is the reality of it, you know. So I think part of it got to do with his career and his being acceptance and the acceptance of his career, because in Chucalissa, or in this moment in time of where they at, as far as P Valley, it might not be accepted at the time. So he probably thinking like, it's not, how can I be portrayed as this gangster rapper, you know, but without it spilling over into this community, because I'm not going to be accepted, you know. So if I just keep it in this lane, if I keep it in the dark, but I could bring it to light on my terms when I'm ready to bring it to light, like such with Big Teak, you know, that's what he's able to bring it to light and it get past, then that's what he do. But I think he's now more than ever, he's more protective of his career. And that's why Wody did what he did, because he's trying to protect him of his career.
Well, Wody told him last season, look, I don't care about what you do in the dark, but you're not going to let that get in between us getting this money or whatever the case may be. And it could actually blow his career up. It could actually be the catalyst that take him to the top. You know, so what he's living in fear of, may be the one thing that skyrockets him to the top. Because right now he's still kind of like a D-list rapper. You know, now this joint with Meg Thee Stallion that they played on the radio, that's going to take him up a notch. But I think that once that comes out, that might be what takes his career off.
I don't know.
I thought that Big Teak's issues were surrounded around his sexuality. After watching this episode, I learned that it was his demons with his family and him constantly reliving that 7-year-old version of himself. Mm-hmm. So he didn't seem to be struggling with the sexuality part as much as he was.
Oh, it said before Lil Nas X we had Puffy.
His mother killed his brothers. What?
Oh my God! I said we had Puffy. We ain't gonna do that.
I'm not even gonna put those comments up. Oh my!
We not gonna do that. I see Bow Wow. I see.
Xavier and El Teddy. Oh, both of them.
Oh my God!
They put him in timeout. Y'all are in timeout.
Oh my God! We're talking about Lil Murda, who's a hardcore.
Yeah, I think his lifestyle would be much more easier if he was more mainstream. It's his lifestyle is hard because he's in Chucalissa, not necessarily because he's a rapper, because there's a lot of DLs out there. I want to put you guys' opinion on
Chucalissa. I don't think Chucalissa or the market that he's trying to the market that he is right now doesn't warrant him coming
With
out in his head, coming out with and letting the world know. If he was on
I
a bigger
think
platform, he will.
Little Murder's inevitable flaw is that he has a heart and he's thoughtful. He's inherently kind, and we know that those are the people that kind of get it the hardest. Those who are just naturally kind-hearted and thoughtful. I wanted to ask you guys your opinion because I looking at a lot of reviews. I noticed that there were a lot of people, even in the comments, not just the CCs, but comments as well. A lot of people felt like that scene between Murda and Teak was all about sex, and I just didn't consider it to be sexual. I don't consider their relationship to be sexual. I consider it to be a product of, something that happens between them. It's one of the
They
things
are
they
actually
share in
fine.
common. But I think that was really something completely different. It wasn't just this sex thing, because this last day
Agreed.
they were together. We didn't have these moments where we had moments of tenderness, moments of kindness, moments of thoughtfulness between each other, but it wasn't this overtly sexual type situation. Their relationship is more than just sex.
It
they
is.
they had a very, very deep connection. I almost think that little Boosie stabbed Lil Murda because something sexual was going on between Boosie and Lil Murda. Because when Lil Murda said I effed up, I think it was more than just you protecting me from Lil Boosie in jail, and that's how you got into solitary confinement. I think something was going on with Lil Boosie, and he got stabbed, and then T, helped with Lil Boosie, and then that's how he got in.
Okay, so
I was
not to
looking at
put
Lil Murda a little bit differently this episode, even towards the end. But we'll talk about it.
so I'm gonna put my behavioral health on hat on for a second. And I'm not gonna say this happens in every scenario, but let's keep in mind they are in a gang. Typically, people that are in a gang look to each other for their everything, their all. You're my father, you're my big brother, you're my cousin. These are people that don't come from healthy home life relationships.
Right.
And it seems as though Big Teak seems to be a little bit older than Little Murder. A Little Murder is they're serious about this Hurtsville hustler. This Hurtville hustler life, they're serious about that. So the fact that you got two Hurtsville hustler members that are serving a bid together, or whatever the case may be, one of them goes after a rival gang member or whoever Lil Boosie was, obviously wasn't part of the gang. Maybe a rival gang goes after Lil Murda. Big T avenges him. All of a sudden now Lil Murda is indebted to Big T. But beyond that, it does seem like they have a very genuine big brother, little brother, best friend, I got your back, you got my back type relationship. And it just so happens that they share an attraction to each other. It's a package. It's a package of things that connect them. They're friends, they're gang members, they understand each other, they speak the same language, they have feelings for each other. So all of that it's not just lust. It's not just two gay men having sex. It's the fact that they're actually friends. They are actually gang members. They're brothers.
Right. They have a bond. That's
They
what
have
I'm
a
saying.
bond. They have a
Yeah,
bond.
they got,
And that's what we saw in this episode. We saw how strong their bond was. We saw
yeah.
that Lil Murda seems to be the only person that can control Lil Teak or Big Teak.
They
Just like
feel
when he was in
responsible
the
for each
car.
other, looks like.
Yeah, just like when he was in the car, he was breaking down about the car. And he hit him on the chest. Said, "You all right?" That's like, get it together. You all right? And just like when he was having a little breakdown at the house, he was like, "That's your past. Like, let's move forward." Which Lil Murda even seemed shocked that he couldn't pull him out of when he got ready to put that gun to his head. Lil Murda was in shock because
He knew something was going on with him, though.
he knew that
That's
this
why
was,
he knew not to leave him.
yes, he knew that I can't fix this.
Yeah.
I can normally calm him down. I can normally straighten him out. I can't straighten this. It's beyond my control at this point.
That's
But
one of the things that makes the writing so good is that so many people have different standpoints. I personally think he knew. He didn't know exactly what would transpire, but I knew that I feel like he believed something was different with Teak. This was different. He's not just mad, he's not just angry, he's different. And
he's
I need to
gone.
stick
Yeah,
with
he's
him.
gone.
And
Yeah.
maybe he stuck with him because he didn't know if he was going if it was gonna be Uncle Clifford's, blow up, he don't know. Maybe let me watch you, but he knew
Was
to
he gonna hurt
hang with
someone
his
else,
boy
or
all
was he
day.
gonna hurt himself? I picked up on that vibe too, Miss Honey. And it was actually love. You're right, El Teddy. It was actually love, even though their goodbyes were kind of like a "I love you"
That's a fact,
without
Xavier.
saying "I love you" type situation. But you could
Murda
tell
wasn't throwing Uncle.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
think they were in love right now. I think at some point they were in love.
Big
Yeah,
Teak was. Big Teak was.
for
Big
sure.
Teak was. And I think that was a part of his hurt because he realized that Lil Murda was no longer in love with him the way he was in love with him. I do believe that because
That's what I believe. I do. I believe that. I believe that Murda still cared about Big Teak, but he was not in love with Big Teak anymore.
Right,
Big Teak was
right.
still in love with Murda.
Correct.
But Big Teak, but Lil Murda was not throwing Clifford in Big Teak's face.
No.
Clifford's name came up twice. The first time was when he found the postcard. He found that postcard. He didn't throw that in his face. And the second time, he asked him when they were at the restaurant eating the wings. He asked him about Uncle Clifford. So he wasn't throwing Uncle Clifford in his face. He didn't do that.
No, I don't think so
And
either.
I think almost Lil Murda was hoping that Big Teak would be okay with it because it's almost like Lil Murda was a little selfish in his
He was
own
trying
right.
to baby step him,
Yes.
and baby step him
He
down a
was
little
kind of
bit.
selfish in his own right because this is my best friend that I have benefits with. But I want to go off and have this relationship with Uncle Clifford, but I still want my best friend around me that I can play with from time to time. I want him to go out on the road with me and everything. So, Lil Murda wasn't looking at them in the same respect of how they used to interact. He was looking at, I'm indebted to you. You're my homie. I want to take you along with me. I'm not going to leave you behind. But at the same time, I'm not looking at you for that love connection anymore. I'm not needing you for that.
I disagree a little bit. I think if there were no Clifford, I think him and Big Teak would have fell right back in where they left off in jail.
Possibly.
I think he did still have feelings for Big Teak. I think he just had stronger feelings for Uncle Clifford. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Obviously, Uncle Clifford is like eating the funnel cake once a year at the fair. So I guess roulette. That's what he said.
Just FYI.
He said that. He said,
I know, but I don't like funnel cake.
Once a year. That's what he said.
I love funnel cake. Funnel cake is great. I wish I had a funnel cake right now.
We not going there. We not going there.
What?
Go.
Roulette and Whisper are down here to the Spades tournament, and they got their pole work. Even though Roulette is a thought, I mean the biggest thought. She got good pole work. I have to give it to her. She got good pole work. Out of the two of them, I can't.
Why you have to preface that by calling her a thought to just admit that she had good? Like, why you got to preface that?
Because she sucked dick in a club for a stack.
But what does that have to do with her pole work? I don't understand. Okay, go ahead.
Pole work. I'm complimenting the thought. I'm complimenting the fact that she has good pole work.
But you can have a good pole work and not be a thought, though. You know that, right?
But
like Mississippi got good pole work, but she's not a thought. But Roulette, I can't imagine anyone not agreeing with me. Roulette
listen. Let me help you understand his logic.
Help me understand what? She's a prostitute.
He thinks Mercedes is not a thought, but
she's not.
Roulette is. She is. So therefore, you already see where he's coming from with his thought process. They both do what they do sexually. They also render. They both render
he
sex.
Was listed, right. He was defending that whole ass teacher. So go ahead, go off.
Oh shit! Let's go. That whole ass teacher. Wow.
Oh
Carrie
man,
still can't rest in fucking peace. Wow.
Oh, pinky toes. You talking about pinky toes? No.
Yes, she was a victim.
Xavier, that is not a true statement. Moving on.
She had a condition. She had a condition.
Beneficiary of a
No,
sponsorship.
it's a medical condition. It's a medical
I like the way
condition.
you doctor that up a little bit, try to make it sound a little bit more professional. But
Forget you, David. Forget you.
she's definitely
Anyway,
she renders sex for money. That makes her a prostitute.
that's correct. She's a prostitute. Roulette, yes.
I'm talking about Mercedes too. They both got good pole work.
She had a contractual agreement for her services that were being performed. So it was, she provided a service, she received compensation for it. Roulette just
She
she turned
freelance.
tricks
That's all.
in the back of the club. She turning tricks in
she
the back
freelance.
alley of the club. I mean,
She nickel and diamond. She's trying to put together her money how she put
She's
it together.
on
She
call.
get
That's
40, 50
She's
here and
on
there.
call.
This a hustle. This the hustle.
I don't
You know
know.
what I mean?
Roulette is on that list with Big Bone with me. Like something about her just ain't kosher. I don't
I mean,
know.
but talent is talent. If she got pole talent, that's what it is. R. Kelly can say he just was, effed up in the head. If she got talent, she got talent. She has good pole talent.
I didn't say that she did. That was complimenting the thought on her.
But you keep saying it's not
That's what she is. She sucked
Okay.
dick in the back of the club. Why how can you not see that as she's a thought? She's objectifying herself for money.
Okay, you're right.
I know I am.
We'll get to the Mercedes experience in a minute.
What's wrong with the Mercedes experience? What's wrong with the Mercedes? We're going to talk about that now.
No, we'll get to that when we get to that. You finish your thought on roulette.
Honestly, in all honesty, L. Teddy, I don't see it as sexual at all. I mean, I know I'm a heterosexual and all of that, but I can see the nuances. I feel like I can see the nuances in their relationship. I don't think it was the only reason that Teak, answering Xavier's comment, I think it was Xavier. I don't think that if that was the reason why Teak did what he did. I think it was, what Teak had going on was something that was accumulated, and he said out of his own mouth that this happened when I was 7. These changes in me started when I was 7.
Yeah, that's when that demon came about.
And it didn't have anything to do with, I mean, his sexuality per se, but that profound sadness that he was under. I don't think I'm misconstruing their relationship because I'm heterosexual. I think I understand perfectly because I've been in love before. I've been in a weird relationship that had its nuances that made it complicated. I can relate.
Even though I call roulette, that's a good point, Miss Honey. Even though I call roulette a thought, there is something going on with her. She's struggling with some inner demons herself. We know that she's grieving the loss of her brother.
Well, people were bringing up colorism, which I didn't get that aspect from it, but I can
really talk about the colorism part. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you because I picked up on it too.
This really is his favorite subject.
I can see the comments. I can see why the comments were being made about that. In her mind, she's the ugly black girl with the big lips, with the big dick sucking lips. So because I have the big dick sucking lips, I'm gonna suck dick. When Terrence came up to her,
I don't think that's it.
I'm gonna break it down.
I have lip, therefore I suck. I don't think that's the way it works.
That's how she looked at herself. That's how she looked at herself. I'm finna break it down to you. Just follow me for a moment. Okay. When her trick comes up to her and greets her in the club, she was happy to see him. She thought he was coming back for some more. To her disappointment, he's asking about Whisper. He says, yo, hook me up with your homegirl. I'll pay 2 stacks to eat her out. And she's like, damn, I wish I could have got that offer and lay on my back instead of getting on my knees. When she was looking at her from the parking lot, she was looking at her in awe. She was looking at her as if, why can't I be regarded like that? Why can't men seek after me like that? in the episode where he asked her to take her mask down, she said, "How much you willing to pay?" And when he pulled down her mask, he said, "Damn, you're fine. I knew it. You got dick sucking lips." And when she turned around and she was giving him the lap dance and she grind on him and he was begging for her to suck his dick or whatever, you saw the look in her face. It was very cliche that, damn, I guess I got to suck dick because I got big lips. She's looking at herself as she's inadequate. She's looking at herself as, I'm not the sexy female. Even when Duffy was flirting with her in the parking lot, he said, "You the finest one in here." And she looked around. She said, "The parking lot?" He was like, "No, in the world." She has issues with herself. She don't
got
feel like
issues. She got another,
yeah,
another
insecurity. She's insecure.
Yeah, she's insecure. She feels as though that she's nothing more than what she gets, and that's dancing.
And
And
if
that's
she's
dancing.
not getting a lot, she don't feel.
She called herself a hoe. She says, "I'm a hoe."
She did.
So because she identifies herself as such, she behaves as such. That's why I call her a thought. Now go ahead and eviscerate me, Crystal. Go ahead.
Don't go away when it comes. Don't run.
Right? Why you? Why you?
Because I gotta go to the bathroom. Give me a minute.
Well.
I was trying to be discreet about it, but I ain't run from nothing. I don't never run from no fight.
Yeah, I'm about to say, don't run from the smoke.
I I'm not. I'm good. I'm good.
I mean, I ain't got really too much to say about Roulette. I feel as though that she do got some issues within herself when it comes down to her looks, when it comes down to what she does for money. She already has. She's not. I don't know. She just feels as though she's not the prettiest person in the world. So that's probably another backstory that they might touch up on a little bit later in episode 9. They might give us a little small piece of something of her backstory once it gets found out that she been rendering sex for money.
And it could be a situation just like we saw with Mississippi when she was coming up. She was chastised by her family. She was chastised by others that she wasn't a pretty girl because her skin was darker. And the fact that they say that Mercedes was the ugly girl, huh? I mean, Mississippi was the ugly girl, huh? She's a beautiful chocolate woman. Beautiful. And even in high school, the fact that black ass football player comes up to her and says she looks like a burnt chicken nugget. Nigga, what you look
I don't
like?
understand it.
But you gotta remember where they met. I don't understand it either. I don't understand it either, especially in this time, because it seemed like it was 3 years ago when they was in high school. I don't understand it. We talked about this in the last in the last one.
Quintessential said 4 years because she was pregnant for 9 months.
So, right. But we was trying to figure it out because I'm like, light skin, dark skin. I was like, that shit went on when I was in high school, and I graduated high school in 2001. So that type of thing, before it happened now, still right now, is just kind of weird. But it is Chucalissa.
Well, Angelique broke it down for us. Go ahead.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Angelique broke it down for us. I'm about to see this. Go ahead.
Because I didn't really see colorism as much as I saw black and white, honestly. But okay.
In the life, even if you're the bad.
Because ain't Whisper white?
A crackhead white girl.
No.
Money.
She might
be not white.
No, I think she's Puerto Rican. I think she's Puerto Rican or she's Latin or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think she's like Latin or something. She ain't white. She ain't a white girl. She like a Latina.
Okay.
It's hard to tell what the fuck
she's not black.
It's hard to tell what the fuck she is with them goddamn Jean Grey contacts she got on.
She do have the Storm eyeballs in.
Yeah, she's Storm and Jean Grey at the same time.
Yeah, she does.
She's got hair and eyes like Storm, and she's got mental powers like Jean Grey. I mean, just absolutely hoe. Okay, Angelique. Okay, I got you. I agree, Xavier. I think she's like
yo.
Okay. So let's talk about the Mercedes experience. Go ahead, D. Since you got so much to say, since I went in on your girl Roulette, you go ahead and talk about my girl Mercedes.
I mean, nothing really to talk about except for you see her and Farrah and Coach, they all tried to enjoy each other, and Coach realized that they was enjoying each other a little bit too much.
I have
But
an issue with that.
I got an issue with that.
I got an issue with
That's
that.
neither here nor there. Like, who gives a like what?
I got a whole issue with that because he called for her. He called for her and begged for her to come back and give them the Mercedes experience. My wife enjoyed this. She can't stop talking about it. So when she's enjoying herself, you get mad? You asked for this. She tried to get out of it and say, hey, coach, I thought it was just going to be me and you. Hey, the agreement was between me and you. I feel more comfortable if we're just by ourselves. You pressed for her to come back and give you and your wife the Mercedes experience. When she gives you and your wife the Mercedes experience, you put her out in the street and don't give her money?
Coach lost control. That's what I think they had something to do.
I was going to say, that wasn't the Mercedes. He said it, though. You're supposed to be here for me. She wasn't supposed to enjoy being with his wife as much as she was enjoying it. And his wife damn sure wasn't supposed to enjoy it. That was about his satisfaction. That was about, she was his toy.
But he called for her. He called for her and he specifically said, my wife, just do this for me. It'll make my wife happy.
But
if my wife is happy, I'm happy.
It seemed like it was more for
and
his
that's what he was saying. He was like, just do it for me. As if, I know this ain't what you really like. I know you ain't really feeling being with my wife, but just do it for me. And when he looked up and they was into each other more than they were into him, see, it's the male ego. It's the male ego.
That's what I said.
It was supposed to be all about Coach, and it wasn't all about Coach. Matter of fact, if he wasn't there, they wouldn't have even noticed. You notice when he stopped, they didn't stop.
Yeah. That wife played her, though.
That could be something else.
I feel like that wife played her. I feel like Farrah played Mercedes.
I don't know.
Because she had already ate her box out. She already played with her box. She gave her some money last week. She lured her down there last week, thinking that she was coming for a coach. And she lured her down there so she could play with her box and enjoy her box. And then when her husband get ready to put her out on the street, she come bring her stilettos and like, go on now. We've had playtime now. Go on now. You're part of the reason why she's losing her opportunity.
But again, it's not about Mercedes. The two of them are playing a game with each other. Mercedes is the toy they're fighting over.
Collateral damage.
Yeah,
she's the toy that they're fighting over. You're right.
Yeah,
this is my thing. Is that what were they supposed to be doing while he was chugging along? You know. What were they supposed to be doing? They were everybody was just waiting for him to get to the top of the hill.
It's that ego. When he stopped. Because he saw it, like he realized, hold up, wait, whoa, like again, they weren't being timid because remember he didn't know his wife was
because his stroke was bad. That's all that was.
That's all it was. His stroke was bad. That's exactly what it was.
Was terrible.
That's exactly what it was. That stroke wasn't hitting different. That stroke wasn't hitting different. That's what it was.
No thanks. I got it from here.
Remember, the wife is the wife is the one that had control of that situation from the beginning. He didn't know his wife liked women. Mercedes, at least the way they playing it, ain't never really messed with women like that, other than to perform, to put on the illusion for men at the club. And Coach was the way, because remember, the wife act like she was all timid and shit, and oh my goodness, well, I want to join in. Like this was something new for her, right? And then when she was arguing with Coach, she was like, hold up, I enjoy pussy as much as you do, if not more. So she was the one that was in control of that whole scenario from the beginning. That's
you think that's why she agreed to it? Really? You think that's why she agreed to it?
Why? Who agreed to it? The wife?
Yeah.
I think she was attracted to Mercedes.
No, I'm saying you think that's why she agreed to it because she was in the pussy.
No, she didn't agree to it because she agreed to it because she had to. Remember, she said you're not his first rodeo. That's not the first woman that he done brought around. That's just the first. Mercedes is the first woman that insisted that the wife know. But remember, she said this ain't new. He been had women.
Go ahead, Miss Honey, because you jumping at the bit.
Well, no, I don't disagree with what Really B is saying. I do think I just find it weird that they had all of these contracts and everything in place. They've had the conversation, all of this stuff, but you never joined in. You never watched. Like, what do you typically do? Just sit in the corner? I mean, I don't
Wait in the
understand
car.
it.
What do you do? Wait in the
It was
car.
it was a little contrived, but I realized they had to bring Mercedes out of that situation because it was keeping her outside of what was going on at the pink. Um, and I just think it was poor that just that one scene. I don't know. It was so contrived to me when he was like, "Wait a doggone minute, you two, y'all." I was like, "Yeah, we all are."
Oh,
No one hears a
hell
virgin,
no.
Coach Candyman. No one hears a virgin.
On me.
Like, I think she was, I think
I would have been like, bravo.
subconsciously the
Right.
wife,
I was like, cheers.
yeah, I think subconsciously the wife did that. Like, I'm better than you are, and I know what this girl wants more than you do. Subconsciously, I think that's what she did.
Every
I
night.
think his pride was hurt. 'Cause I mean, that's mostly what it is. Is that his
I
pride
think
was hurt.
I was thinking about
subconsciously that's why Farrah did it. Farrah was like, I can please her better than you can. You don't know. I mean, she started the night off
Right.
on the sofa, putting him down, telling his secret about the fact that he mixed, Red Bull and Viagra, whatever it is, right? So she was considering him competition at this point. That's how she kind of played it
Yeah,
out to me. Like, get your measly 2 inches out of the way. Let me show you how a real set of fingers gets the job done. And
Or my tongue, because she ate that box last week.
I had a question.
Any other man would have sat back with a glass, would have been twirling their cup, and been like, "Hey, this is explicit."
Yep.
Go ahead.
he's a fourth quarter. What you call it? Fourth quarter quarterback. What do you call it? I mean, he did, do all of the foundational work, I guess.
But guess what?
Yeah,
You brought this into your life.
though.
You brought this into your
You
life.
win the game. What difference does it make? They came in with the game winner. What difference does it make at this point? I think Coach Pride was just hurt. He went out like a sucker. That was a sucker move. Like,
I just don't understand. What were you paying $10,000 a week for? Like, this is.
But I got a question. They have a contract. Like, I would be threatening to take his ass to court. You gonna give me my money, bro?
I mean, you can give me that money on the table. I don't care. I might have had to fight you for that other money, but the money I done earned right here on this table.
Oh yeah. I'm not. Listen, we'd have been fighting the niggas. I'm not walking out of there with no money. I promise you that.
Now that is more realistic than him going to court. Because to be quite honest with you, I thought about that too. But legally, you can't sue a person for illegal activity.
That's not illegal activity. They were
prostitution is illegal.
No, they were consenting adults in an arrangement.
Yeah, that was
an arrangement.
It was still prostitution.
Yeah. Okay.
So it would have been messy, but it's definitely a contract. They have something legally binding. It definitely would have been messy. But
I agree with you on that part. There's no way she should have left that condo without her getting her money.
Yeah.
Well, at least let me tell you something. I would have left. Listen, I would at least took an ass whooping in the process. Like, he might have whooped my ass, but I'm not leaving up out of there without a good try. I'm going for that money.
When he went to go pick up the money, I thought he was just going to give it to her and tell her, "Just get the fuck out of here, you hoe." Because he already started degrading her and calling her a backwood hoe and all this. But this, you paying $10,000 a week for this hoe though.
They're gonna get that money
now. She'll hold now, but you give her.
They're gonna help her get that money.
You think so?
Because you got to look at it. Because when Farrah was talking to Coach, she Mercedes jumped in like, yeah, what about her dreams? Like helping, Farrah, defend Farrah's point, about I think they're gonna have other conversations outside of what we last saw between them two. Other conversations, and Mercedes gonna get her money somehow, some way. They're going to get that money. They're going to figure out how to get that money.
Is the Mercedes character coming out though? Is the Mercedes character coming out? Do we see her having a small relationship with Farrah?
I don't know. It could just be like a little side thing, probably.
Or it could be a situation. It could be a situation where Farrah is kind of, I'm not going to say obsessed, but it could be a situation where Farrah is kind of wanting more of the Mercedes experience.
If she get her that money, she definitely gonna want more, I would think.
She could be frequenting the club, but you know what? The fact I was gonna say this. What does Farrah do? Is it possible that she's a lawyer?
Pictures.
I thought she was just a painter.
Well, you know that she's a photographer, but I don't know. It's something about the way she presented that contract and those NDAs makes me feel like maybe she's the brains of the operation. Maybe she's a lawyer.
Oh, she's probably definitely the brains of the operation. You know, and that's why I think
when Mercedes had that conversation with her when she lured her there about Terica, is it Farrah that helps Mercedes get Terica back?
Could be.
So I think we may have seen the last of Coach and Mercedes. Now I think we're going to see Farrah and Mercedes. And Farrah, somebody said Farrah might help her get those stacks.
I'm tired of Coach anyway. Coach weirded me out.
I didn't like this new Coach anyway. I didn't like the old one either.
He just looked creepy to me.
Yeah, he was. I don't know.
He looked like the original Candyman. I keep telling y'all
Yeah,
that.
that's exactly what it looked like. He looked creepy.
I didn't think about it until you said it, but that's exactly what it was. He was mad.
He looked like the original Candyman.
He was mad because he wasn't pleasing them. That's what he got mad about. It wasn't the fact that they was enjoying the threesome. He was mad that his wife was able to please Mercedes and he wasn't. I never thought about it like that.
Because his stroke was weak.
Yeah, his stroke was weak.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, that milk. He didn't drink enough of that milkshake.
The way he was breathing, though, I was like, just pace yourself, precious.
Man, I'm like, bro, you got all night. You
think about your angles. Think about your angles.
Like, what do you?
So it's Andre's mayoral. I don't know what it is. His announcement, his commencement, his coronation. I don't know what the hell they were doing over at Corbin's house.
It was a fundraiser. It was a masquerade ball fundraiser.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Autumn Nightmare shows up to the fundraiser.
And
looking like Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, looking like Jessica Rabbit with her red wig on and her red dress.
I like the red dress.
Roger Rabbit. Yep. Autumn Nightmare shows up. Andre is struggling to get the supporters, the constituents to, round of applause him. He's getting this weak reception from the constituents until Autumn asked him the question about, she made him speak wholeheartedly. She made him speak from his humble beginnings. Like, listen, I came from a drug-addicted mother. My father died when I was 7. The previous mayor put me through college. I pulled myself up by the bootstrap. And then, of course, all white people love a sad story from a black person. Great job. Round of applause. So we see that Autumn Nightmare actually has what it takes to be his first lady. She actually does have what it takes to be his first lady. Corbin, I don't know why Corbin is so butthurt. And the more and more,
how does Autumn have what it takes to be his first lady? We don't even know if she what. We don't know her. We don't know her past. We don't know nothing about Autumn, really.
Their sexual chemistry is so strong. She actually augments his insecurities.
Right, but she has what it takes to be a good side piece, a good first lady. The scrutiny she would have to go under. Autumn could have a child out there. She thinks the child is deceased, but she doesn't really know. Everybody forgets about the fact that she's got a stray child out there.
A stray child that's floating around somewhere, right?
I think she just bring him a little bit of motivation, and she just know how
Big Bone has the child. What if
pull out the best part of him?
Montavious actually found the child that night because she thought she left Montavious for dead. Obviously, he wasn't. What if the child isn't dead? What if Big Bone's actually holding on to the child? I don't know. That might be too far of a stretch, but I agree, Miss Honey. I don't think her child is dead. It just depends on how many seasons we get out of P Valley. We'll determine if the child's dead or alive. Right now, the child is dead, but in subsequent seasons to come, the child may be alive. We'll see. Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn, is mad at Haley and puts her up out of the house and says it's time for you to go back to the strip club because that's what Corbin is. He's the Green Goblin.
Oh,
He's
this year his
he's
character
Norman
is such
Osborn.
a
He's
jerk.
Harry Osborn all the way. He looks like him in everything. He's a real life Harry Osborn.
Yeah, that is so.
He is. I don't know. He's
Yeah,
just.
he's a real jerk this season.
He is a
Yeah.
jerk this season. I've said that before. I don't know why they got him so turned. Because even Andre said, "Why are you so mad?" Like
Yeah.
he cannot stand Haley. He cannot stand Autumn Nightmare. He like put her ass up out of there. Said it's time for you to go back to the strip club or whatever. Do you think Andre's gonna win this campaign,
Yep.
or is Pastor Woodbine gonna win?
Nope.
Me and Miss Honey had kind of a back and forth with that because we both can kind of see both of them winning. I could actually see Pastor Woodbine winning.
It would be the worst thing ever for that town. They think they broke now.
It'll be the worst thing
Child.
for Mercedes, for sure. But Andre probably does have what it takes to win the campaign.
He's probably the best candidate right now.
He is the best candidate. And it's odd to see that all this is happening with, how Corbin's brothers beat his ass because, he signed that paperwork to lease the land instead of selling the land. It's odd to see how the brothers are not rolling up on Corbin right now for endorsing Andre and not endorsing the brother that's interim mayor. So it's very interesting to see that the brothers haven't, confronted Corbin about his loyalties. The old man from Promised Land shows up. And they take him back to the cigar room to try to finesse him into getting the deal back on the table for the casino.
Yeah. With my mother, Casino.
And who is this Georgia lady that comes that shows up? Is she
Mae West.
What is Mae West? Who is she? Is she like the?
It was her husband that was.
Plan?
Her husband was the facilitator for the whole Promised Land thing. He's passed away, and so, like most of Caucasian wealth, is passed down to her.
Of course.
And she coming in with big balls. She coming in. She put her
Big
balls.
dick. She got big dick.
She
Right.
she
She
put.
didn't even blink her eye at that 10 million. She didn't even blink her eye at that 10 million.
At all. I'm talking about she came in and ran shit.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see an old Cornbread and Earl moment where they just, run game on the Caucasoids and get all the money in the land for themselves. Like I'm a happy ending type person. I just think
I want them to fuck
all
them
the
too.
black people
I
are
do too,
better
Miss
off
Honey. I was thinking the same
being
thing.
together.
I was thinking the same thing. Get y'all money and pull off on their ass. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be the smart thing.
We've been saying it from ever since the first sneeze from Toy. We have been saying it. Toy don't gave Grandma Ernestine COVID.
Yeah.
Grandma Ernestine up out of here.
Bitch, I knew that wasn't no damn allergies.
Grandma Ernestine up out of here.
Yeah, I'll just go make it.
And I feel so terrible about that because I really like Loretta Devine in this character.
Yeah.
I know, me too.
She trips me out when she says, "Just kill the bitch. Just kill her. They were watching some kind of forensic files or something on TV. She told Uncle Clifford, she said, "That's what you need to do to kill the bitch." She keeps saying that shit. That should be so funny to me when she say that. Why are they killing her off? Her character is
because
perfect.
Somebody has to die. I mean, from COVID, they got to do it. They got to do it.
Well, I thought they did that when they gave us the mayor dying from COVID.
Well, that's true.
But I was thinking about that too, though. Really, I said, yeah, they got to give us somebody died from COVID. Yeah, but when she made that comment to Uncle Clifford about It's not like you're gonna get 200 a quarter mil in your life anytime soon. Do you think that's what she's leaving him for her life insurance?
I don't know. That's interesting.
I think Grandma Ernestine gonna leave some money for Uncle Clifford.
I think Grandma Ernestine is how Clifford and Lil Murda gonna have to quarantine. And then they're gonna have some come to Jesus moments together
Oh my God.
during this quarantine.
Wow.
Cause they finna all be stuck in their house together.
Yeah, now that is true. Because I thought about that as soon as he opened the door and they got the hug, and I said, "Well, all their asses got it now."
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looked like Lil Murda gonna be staying over there for a minute anyhow, because he's processing. He already told Clifford he was good, so I'm not good. I'm not okay. And so looks like he's gonna stay over there for a couple of days anyway to get over the whole Big Teak thing. But yeah, they need to quarantine for real. They don't need Clifford don't need to go back to the club. But guess what? Everybody in the club probably sick too. The tornado sneezed over everybody in the
Well,
damn
at least
club.
they've been exposed to it.
Oh,
Lord,
yeah.
if Roulette, look, if Roulette and Whisper was dancing at Lord, they done gave it to the whole damn Chucalissa.
They don't give it to the health inspector. You remember she sneezed in that lady's face.
She sneezed right in her face.
It's
I
to
mean,
everybody. Your husband got it. He done brought it from the club. Now you got it.
Right, everybody's husband done brought it home.
That's what I'm saying. The whole Chucalissa got, at least they at least been exposed to it. The whole
Yeah.
Chucalissa.
From Tor. Oh.
Mercedes probably the only one that don't have it. Let's coach
Yeah,
or
'cause she ain't
Sarah
been
got
working.
it.
She ain't been working. She
Unless
ain't been
Sarah
dancing.
got it.
She ain't been dancing though, because no, they gave Mercedes a COVID test when she first pulled up. Remember, they gave her a COVID test before she even got into the penthouse.
That's true.
in the building good. Yep.
Yeah, I hate they're killing Loretta Devine's character. I mean, damn, she's good in this role. Oh,
Well, maybe they won't kill her. Maybe they just make her real sick for a while.
yeah, maybe that's what it is. I hope so. Autumn Nightmare Lakeisha Savage has broken into Andre's house, and she's sitting in the dark.
Just like Jessica Rabbit.
Yep.
That's a scene from Roger Rabbit.
Yep.
It is.
Homage. Yep. And Andre blesses her out and tells her how she could have ruined his opportunity for mayor by coming in there asking questions. The girl asked one question. I don't know. I mean, girl asked one question. You could have ruined my whole campaign.
He was like, I will not sniff your panties. You cannot force me. I will be strong and I will be a man.
That's why I say she's good for him, because she brings out the masculinity in him, because he's obviously had to carry this role with Brittany, and he has not been. Because remember, this happened last season. The same situation happened last season when Brittany showed up at that hotel unannounced, and he came home that night from Autumn getting him all hot and bothered. And he told Brittany to take her dress off that night. She didn't want to take her dress off for him. She did not want to take her dress off for him. He said, "Oh, you don't want to take your dress off?" He turned around and hiked her dress up. He does not have moments where he's the man in the relationship. He's in control at home. But with Autumn, he feels like he can have that. So he wanted to do a little role playing with her. He's like, "Take your dress off." She's like, "Yes, sir." Crawl. She crawled. I'm like, shit.
But all still control that. So
Autumn is the perfect succubus. She knows she can read people.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But she knows what he needs right now is a cheerleader section. He needs to feel powerful. He needs to feel strong. He's feeling more inadequate than ever, especially after coming in and finding his wife giving that Georgia Dome. Okay. And it's almost like he can't rally himself without that cheerleading section. I mean, he kind of floundered even as a degree professional in the relationship with his wife, and without Uncle Mayor Ruffin, his godfather, lifting him up and pumping his gas and keeping him going. Autumn just tapped into his need to have a cheerleader section, I think.
You know what I noticed the most about that scene is like when they was having sex, he kind of put his hands around her neck and she moved it and then put her hands around his neck.
Ooh.
I noticed that.
That's when I was like,
I did notice
Autumn
that.
Autumn controlled this whole situation.
Autumn is in control.
She moved his hand.
Yeah, he thought he was in
She
control.
moved his hand. She took his hand like, yep.
Yep.
And then she put her hand around his throat. Yep.
Yep. To let him, because she was still in control. She controlled that whole, even though she was on top and all this other type of stuff or whatever.
And she was on top. That's right.
You seen or whatever. She did all that. Like you said, Miss Honey. She does enough to make him feel like he's in control, but he really wasn't.
Yeah.
But she was the best place where she was supposed to be at when she was on her knees crawling. That was.
And he was like, well, take your dress off. Revolutionary. Yeah, that was an original thought. And crawl over here. Yeah, okay.
And then when she stood up, he like, what's next? And he froze.
He didn't know what to say. He didn't know what to say. I'm like, I know what to say.
How many language you need me to say it in? Like,
I got a job for you, all right, Miss Autumn.
Like, what you want me to do?
I got a job for you, Miss Autumn.
So you can. I mean, I don't know. I knew you had them tears on too, by the way. But like, she controlled that whole situation.
You ain't know nothing.
I didn't know you had them tears on.
Why? Because I got a camo shirt and hat on?
Yeah, exactly. It was either gonna be one or two shoes. You either gonna have the tears or you had the camo phone posits. One or the other.
There's also a lesson for you guys to learn here. If you come home and there's a woman sitting there in the dark, she's probably up to no good. Exactly. I would not hit it before I asked her to leave. I would ask her to leave.
Oh, that's nice, D. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. And yes, I did have the tears on. Crystal, what you wearing today? Got your Ugg slippers on today?
I do.
The $400 Ugg slippers.
Oh no!
First of all, they're not no $400.
$800 Ugg slippers on.
You know that I wish I would pay $400 for some damn slippers.
So overall, very good episode. Very sad moment when Big Teak decides to take his life. And I really thought that Lil Murda was going to stop it in some kind of way. But it looks like
I thought he was going to be able to talk him out of it too.
I thought he was going to be able to talk him out of it. But what do you think the after effects is going to have on Lil Murda for that?
It's gonna be heavy. I never thought that Lil Murda was gonna be able to talk him out of that. I think at that point that it was just way too late. It hasn't been a conversation.
If you remember, he had been trying to get rid of Lil Murda. He had decided to do that already.
Right.
Because remember when they came out the barbershop
all day. Yeah.
Remember when they came out the barbershop and Teak was like, "Where can I drop you off?" And he was like, "I'm rolling with you." And Teak hesitated, like he didn't want him with. So he had already made up his mind.
He already made up in his mind, and it's sad to say that, for most suicidal incidents that happen like that, majority of the time they already made their mind up. It isn't really nothing you could do that could stop them. You got people that talk about it and just dealing with the mental health portion of it. You got people that talk about it.
That's what happened with my friend.
It was just pretty much a scare tactic.
You have some people that talk about it often. And I hate to say this, and it's sad because this is what kind of happened with my friend. He would always threaten it. He would always threaten it. Anytime something bad happened in his life, no matter what it was, no matter how insignificant it was, the end result would always end in a threat that I'm going to kill myself. And when he finally decided to kill himself, it really didn't come as a surprise. Because he had been saying it over and over and over and over again. The part that we struggled with was that we didn't take it serious. And it was kind of hard to take it serious because he was one of those persons that used that as a go-to. That was his first go-to. Whenever something happened, I'm just going to kill myself. And
But it all goes to the stigma of of mental health anyway. Like the writing, like if you go back and you look at the previous
that's what
episodes,
we were saying earlier about mental health for like us black men. Our mental health is very fragile. Our mental health is very fragile because one, we as black men do not like to seek the assistance of others. And
no,
we
Right.
damn sure don't want to tell someone else that there's something
Right.
wrong.
Which is why y'all really should be. And again, I'm saying in general, I'm making a general statement. That's why, and that's why we got to get rid of that stigma
Exactly.
that's attached to therapy, because it's nothing wrong with going to therapy. It's nothing wrong with sitting down, however that looks. You know what I'm saying? Find the one that works for you. It doesn't have to look the same for everybody, but that's why it is. We've got to get rid of that stigma in our community
I see a
because it
therapist
is
once a week.
important.
And therapy doesn't always have to be a professional.
That's what I'm saying. It's different. It's
Yeah,
different.
it doesn't.
It's different.
Talk to somebody. Talk to someone that you love. Talk to somebody that you trust. Talk to someone that's a listening ear. Sometimes a stranger can bring you more comfort than the people that are closest to you or whatever. But I mean, just don't let it go. Just don't let it go unaddressed. If you got those
And
dark feelings inside, you need to talk to somebody about it.
And then the last thing, this episode, which I missed this on my review with Terica. I forgot all about that when I gave my review.
She's pregnant, and judging by the trailers for next week, it seems like Mercedes is going to encourage her to abort.
But it also looked like she's kind of far along. Like she already got belly showing.
So how do you think this is how Mercedes ends up getting her back? Do you think that once Shell finds out that she's 15 and pregnant, that Shell's going to put her out?
Yeah.
I was going to ask that earlier when we was arguing about her.
I think this version of Shell that we're dealing with, the drunk, the angry at the world, the unemployed, the struggling, yes. Had it been a year ago when everything was still light and lovely, I don't know. But this one, yeah.
That was the bullet she needed for Mercedes.
Xavier, you're right. She is continuing that generational curse. However, I do kind of look at it a little bit deeper than that. I feel like because her mama is, because you got to think about it. In this season, we're seeing that Terica has been calling Mercedes over and over again, trying to get Mercedes' attention.
They got a weird relationship when it comes to communication.
Mercedes is too busy turning tricks to try to get money up to give them a better life, that she hasn't been bothered with Terica. The dance studio.
She's gotten comfortable not having to be bothered with Terica.
That's true.
I think there's something that's been lost, because we haven't really pulled apart this dynamic between, with Mercedes and Terica and all that. We haven't really pulled it apart and had those conversations outside of these fleeting moments. So
you're right about that, Miss Honey. She's gotten comfortable with not having to be bothered.
Yeah. She knows she can just blow her off, I'll check with her later. I'll call her later,
I'll send her a text whenever.
Crazy. And they're going to have a tumultuous relationship. You can tell by the way she talked to Terica. Where you at? I've been calling you. You ain't picking up your phone. It's just crazy. What I was going to ask you guys, and really B's gone now, but I was going to ask you guys if you thought in that last scene between Teak and Lil Murda, if Lil Murda saying, I'm not going to leave you, thinking that he wasn't going to do it while he was sitting there, or was he saying, I'm not going to leave you, like I'll be here with you when you leave?
I took that as if you're going to do this, well, you're going to do it in front of me. If I think that Lil Murda was reaching for any and every way to de-escalate Big Teak. And I think by him making that comment that, well, if you're going to do this, I'm not going to leave you. So you're going to do it in front of me. That's the way I took it.
That's kind of the way I took it. I just felt like he just couldn't leave him alone. If that would be his last moment, it wasn't going to be by himself.
I'm going to share it with you. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be by himself. If anything, it was HV. What was that gang called?
Hurtville Hustlers.
HVH for life,
HVH.
Like his last words that he said, if I ain't mistaken. So I think regardless whether he did it or he didn't do it, he was gonna be with him regardless. You know, and like I think Lil Murda saw the writing on the wall, and like I said, I kind of started seeing the writing on the wall when the police incident happened. You know, the way he was raging about, about that. He was well within his right, but I was like, either he's gonna do something to himself or something's gonna happen to him.
No, I don't think that the whole Black Lives Matter, all that is going back to the fact that he is so angry with the changes that are happening in the world, and he has gotten out and he see that we're still kind of in the same situation where we're oppressed, where we're still regarded as you're nothing. You're black, that means you're nothing. If you're black, you're not smart. If you're black, you can't be successful. If you're black, you can't be talented. If you're black, you're a menace to society. So I think he thought that there may have been some advances, maybe, or maybe that, we were probably in a better place. But to get out in the middle of a pandemic and this whole situation with the cop killing, it triggered all of his emotions. It triggered all his.
I'm about to say he was already angry. Like he was already angry.
Right. It was a catalyst.
Yeah. So he was an angry person.
He was angry, and you know what? He was also tortured. He was a tortured soul.
Yeah. Or he felt guilty. And he was dealing with guilt.
I mean, playing that from 7 years old, playing that in your head over and over again, that sound.
He had a lot of survivor's guilt because he said, he was like, well, that should have been me. I should have been the one that got killed. You know, like that was the end of my story.
Yeah.
Right. So he had that survivor's guilt.
And it takes us back to that comment he made. Remember that comment he made when him and Lil Murda were getting ready to first do their thing, and he was like, you're gonna be an icy nigga. I believe in you. You're gonna be a rich nigga. He was talking about. He said that I don't know why my mom had me. You remember he had made that comment about his mother. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why my mom even had me, and it was just like it goes back to even with his mother. Mental health in the Black community is not something that's addressed. That's not something that's looked after, because his mom probably, what's it, Stockholm? Is it Stockholm syndrome?
Yeah, identify with your captor.
Well, no, that's not what I'm talking about. After mothers have babies, and they're kind of
postpartum depression.
Postpartum, yes. It seems like she had a little bit of that, because the children crying was agitating her, and I guess that's why she ultimately stabbed them, was because she couldn't get them to be quiet.
Or she just came from generationally. She comes from mental health.
Yeah, could be, obviously.
Yeah. What's crazy is that you said, what do you think the fallout will be? It's unfortunate. I don't think that there'll be much fallout from Teak. I don't think anyone outside of Lil Murda cared about Teak like that. You know what I'm saying?
He's like Woody didn't even give a shit about him either.
Woody gonna look at it as a release.
Yeah, because Woody didn't even want him to come back out on the road with them.
Yeah,
because he was a liability.
Yeah, he was a liability.
But Big Teak knew that. He said, I'm gonna end up hurting somebody. He said, now I'm the demon and somebody's gonna get hurt.
Remember, he said, now I'm the devil. The devil's in me now.
Right. He said the devil's in me now.
That took me back to that scene at the barbershop where he looked in the mirror and he saw the devil.
I gotta watch that again. But
I gotta go back and look at it again
go
too.
Back and look at that thing. When he turned around and looked in that mirror,
it was a like a billboard from what's the whole show Old Brother Where Art Thou was based upon a guy who played the fiddle, and he sold his soul to the devil to play the fiddle.
To the devil, yes.
That was like a little the guy who wrote that whole piece. That was I don't say the caption, icon, or thumbnail.
It was like a picture. It was
a picture, but that was from the writings.
Yeah, it was like a picture or something, but there was a silhouette of a devil. When he looked in that mirror at himself, he saw it.
Yeah, but that's the cover to that piece.
Yes. So when he made that comment that the devil was in me, I instantly went back to that scene. And so, okay, he's in his mind, he thinks that he's evil. He thinks that he's tortured. He thinks that he's the demon because he lived and his siblings did. And this is really sad. Me personally, I'm loving this season of P Valley. I know a lot of reviews.
Very good.
Yes, it is. I'm not gonna say it's worth the 2-year wait that we waited for, but it's really good.
How many more episodes do we have?
I think 3.
Is it 3? Wait, I thought
We're not
we
getting
get 10.
10. We're not getting 10 episodes.
4.
When I get
We got 4 there. We got 4 left.
Yeah.
We got 4 left.
Yeah, a lot can happen in 4 episodes, especially in Chucalissa. Because I
I'm hoping
promise
that
you
we
1
get 10
hour
in
for
our
like 2 to 3.
I'm hoping that we get 10 in like we waited 2 years for 8 episodes.
We
But we got
definitely-
Raising Candy coming back. We got Raising Candy coming back. That's my shit right there. I love Raising Candy.
I love Raising Candy too. You know Raquel, my girl.
Petita Miller, she's great. I love that.
Raquel's my
Miss
girl.
Honey, you gonna be back for Raising Candy?
I haven't been able to get into it.
Oh no, Miss Honey, we
you don't get into it now.
We need to get you working on season 1. You need to go. Yeah, we need to watch season 1 offline together. Dude. We got to get you
get into it now.
Because that's the best version of Power. These spinoffs that we've had.
Raising Canaan, yes. You know what I'm thinking about? I watched Raising Canaan. I did the review for Raising Canaan.
That's what
I was thinking about what's the show on Talent Man? No, David Makes Man.
I don't watch nothing on.
Can't tell you what channel it is.
I don't even know what channel that is.
Raising Canaan is it. When is it coming back?
That was it for me.
August 15th, I think.
August the 15th, I think.
Oh yeah, so that's right around the corner.
So by the time we wrap up with
oh man, I'm not gonna be here for the premiere. Damn.
Yeah, by the time we wrap up with P Valley, we will be getting ready to go into Raising Canaan. All right, so next week we will be back for episode 7. I'll be joining y'all from the Dominican Republic, but I'll be here. I will be here. Unlike others, I will show up on vacation. I will show up on vacation.
Pew, 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 pew.
Right. I mean, was that shots fired at me, Sarah?
I didn't say a word. I just said, unlike others, I will show up on vacation to work.
Whatever.
I will show up. But anyway, we'll be back next week because just like you, if I'm not here, the show won't go on. So I don't know. Maybe I need to send the login information to Miss Honey, and maybe Miss Honey will keep y'all together, and the show will go on if I'm not here. We'll see. Because
you're gonna be here though.
2 of the 3 that's on the panel that has a login information right now, we're not even going there. Anyway, we'll be back next week.
We explain that offline.
Go ahead and explain that for me real quick.
We explain that offline.
Okay, we explain it offline. Okay, great. Perfect.
Crystal is very responsible when it's not her birthday.
Yeah,
exactly.
When it's not her birthday. You're right. The whole world shuts down when it's her birthday.
And it does.
The whole world comes to a halt.
And it does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just never seen anyone go on vacation for a whole month because
she did.
Birthday. Yeah, for a whole month.
And I'm going back in 3 weeks. And what?
Must be nice.
And you wear expensive Crocs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, she ain't tell you about her little impromptu trip to Canada last week. She ain't tell you about that.
Oh, after she went to Detroit?
What is going on?
Yeah, she leaves Detroit and goes to Canada. Yeah.
It's right there. It is literally right there.
It's literally like a bridge.
Keep in mind, she had to have her passport on her. So
wait a minute, hold on. You travel with your passport too. Don't do that.
You gotta have your passport to go to Canada.
I know, that's what I'm saying. She purposely had it with her. So that means she purposely intended to go to Canada.
Like she went to the 7-Eleven and made a wrong turn in Albuquerque.
That's what it sounded like.
It was a plane trip.
Oh, by the way, guys, I decided to go to Canada for a couple of days. Who decides?
I did not know. I was in Canada for 30 minutes. I really wasn't. I was in Canada for 30 minutes.
You both are pretty, in my opinion.
Anyway, goodbye. Now he just make up.
Anyway, y'all, we enjoy y'all. We'll be back next week. We'll see y'all next week.